producer.
No, you're on. That was my cue for you're on, Sean.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. Sorry, guys. I was busy watching it and got very confused. Sorry about that. I was so distracted by preparing for tonight's session that I just completely, one, forgot this was happening, and two, was distracted by it heavily. Yes, that is our new intro video. Thank you so much to everyone who worked on it. Tim, Alex, some of our other friends outside of Paradice, and yes, that is the map that I drew, and we have a lovely new overlay. So everyone, a lot of exciting new stuff, like I said, but it's time to start D&D. Last we left off, the Wayward Five found both answers and suffering in the face of war. They discovered that General Aldrich Kinsley of Oxlin worked with the Magister Prime of the Kiris Re Academy to experiment on living subjects to create stronger and more resistant soldiers, specifically against magic. Similarly, Kiron experienced a vision of the figure known as the Harbinger and his creation. He furiously connected dots between Edmund Hollingsworth, the rogue wizard of the Academy, Scarlet's brother, Erdwulf Thatcher, and the Pallid King. Yes, the Pallid King, the enemy threaded between all of these clues. What did this forsaken creature plan for the world of mortals? Kiron believed his answers lie in the Gosu ruination. Timber, trusting in Kiron, agreed and believed his own fate lied connected to the ruination. During all of this discovery, Wiswick pursued his own goals, following in the footsteps of his aging uncle Oek. He made a strong ally in the Magister of Illusions, Kalra, within the Kiris Re Academy. This ally would prove vital in his future discoveries and in his protection. As for Scarlet, or should we say Rowan, frustrated with her loss of memory, pained by the past that haunts her, and afraid of what the future holds, she preferred to isolate herself in the forges with her new mentor/father figure, Senric. The questions of the Pallid Mask and the woe of the last few months hang heavy on the columns of this party. In your stay in the capital city, Caerdolan, your host's generosity waned with every day you spent there. Until, on the last night, the guards of the house isolated Caliph in the general's study, while the rest of you met to discuss what to do in your discoveries. A warning came to you all from Valen, the Wood Elf. Kinsley comes for Cal, as war comes to the Quintarchy. Cal's homeland in Duras has broken off from the Quintarchy and allied themselves with the Gwyn Empire in the south against the Quintarchy proper. It is at this moment that Kinsley projected his illusory self to speak with Cal. He offered him a choice: join him and see Honduras prosper, or become a prisoner, a hostage. Kinsley would see the entirety of the Trinwald Valley under one ruler unified under God Zendario. As Cal listened and plotted his escape, the illusion of Kinsley stepped onto the teleportation circle in his study, and that spectral form phased into the true Kinsley, bringing with him the beaten and battered traitor Valen. Cal refused Kinsley's offer and attempted to leap through the window and escape, but the powerful general used his magic to stop him. But at that point, the rest of the Wayward Five came crashing through the window to save Cal. A violent skirmish ensued, but you were able to contain the general just long enough to flee with Valen. Escaping by boat, by magical boat that Cal has held on to since episode 10 or so of season 1. You headed south, fleeing the city. And in those waning starlight, the Wayward Five began to splinter. Each of you now possess new desires in the face of this war and the coming extraplanar threats. Scarlet and Wiswick saw their futures full of research and forging, and perhaps peace back in Caerdolan. Timber and Curon sought answers in the Gosu ruination regarding not only Iluvania, but Timber's curse and the wolf god that harbors within his soul. And Cal, his sense of duty and honor bound him to finally return home to defend his people. And thus the Wayward Five were broken until tonight. It is the 31st of Ilsedvala, otherwise known as the Slaughter Dawn, on a Tearsdag. You all are in separate corners of the continent, but we will start with Curon and Timber. The two of you have spent the last few months spreading yourselves across the Ghost of Ruination, discovering new things, potentially progressing Curon's mission to resurrect Iluvania, or at the very least learn how to defeat the Pallid King. On this night, you find yourselves in your dwelling amongst the Raven-born tribe, Wild Elves, in the now somewhat safer Ghost of Ruination. What would the two of you like to do? You can start by, if there's anything new about your character, you can describe that. Any new items you might possess or changes to your appearance.
Steph.
Alex.
How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, actually, it's Stefan and Alex. Sorry.
Our characters are... No. All right, I'll go first, since that's what you seem to be implying, Alex. Yeah, so Curon is still an Elysian elf. He's still a cleric of Twilight Domain for Ilyuvania. However, it's what, 4 months have passed? You're now
Totally muted myself before. Some old habits will never die. So at this point, it's been it's not the full 4 months that we talked about. This is before you guys start to return back to society. This is in, so if when we left off, season 1 was technically, I'd say mid or early July. It is now October 31st.
Okay.
Halloween. It is, just for a quick reference for you all to think about, the 31st of Ilsadvala, the Slaughter Dawn, is the last day of the Vala months. The next day is considered the beginning of the Long Dark, as the gloaming begins. It's not, tomorrow the sun won't be fully eclipsed, but it's at midnight on the 31st is when the edges of the gas giant Varos start to cross over the sun and start to darken the lands. It is often times of stoic celebration amongst communities where they may have festivals of lights where they, to stave off the darkness as long as possible, and they have feasts and whatnot to try to raise the spirits of the people before they go into the hardest time of the year.
Okay, so like 3 months. Okay.
Yes.
So Curon has been traveling the ruinations, these uncivilized lands with timber, and as such is not as kept as he once was. He may be called unkept by some. His facial hair has grown out now since he's a little older. It's very wispy though, just, around the mouth, a slight mustache and chin scruff coming down. He still wears the Elvin's chainmail he received from
Striga
in
Sumerlanden.
I remember that one.
Sorry.
However, now, in place of the quarterstaff he once used, is a magical staff. It's still made of wood. However, now at the head of it, almost growing out with this lattice-like structure, is a shattered replica of the moon that hangs low above Elysia. And there's just faint magical smoke emanating out of it as it lays across his knees, as he looks over at his friend Timber and goes, "It's been quite some time, Kaze, but I think it's about time that we head back, start going on the mission that we were given."
After taking a swig of the flask that Wiswick has once, or I should say, Timber took from Wiswick, and then Wiswick eventually conceded and gave to him. The now Timber / Kaze, he looks relatively the same. He looks a little bit more upbeat than he did before, instead of his depressed state. He has magical, slightly glowing green tattoos with odd configuration along his left arm. Same as he once was. Maybe since they're still currently in the Ghost of Ruination, his newer clothes are now more torn up again. Which is just kind of inevitable if you keep transforming over and over. Need really tight, stretchy, elastic clothing. Sean, please. He's got his crimson bow, and that's kind of it. Maybe a couple more scars from walking through thorns and such, and the
Yes.
battles that ensued within there. He looks back over at his buddy Kieran, and well, based on the amount of information we just got, we need all the people we can get. And they're our old crew with tackling this mess, so maybe we should contact them.
Yes, it's been a while since I've sent any messages. I hope everyone's doing okay.
Do you think that,
Getting-
because Cal is part of that war that's going on, do you think he'll be able to leave? It's worth a shot,
Well-
either way.
It's coming into the winter months. Fighting should be coming to a close, at least for the season soon. But if we go...
War is seasonal.
with-
Sorry.
Yes. If we go with our mission, I think he'll see reason. And if need be, we can always break him out. And Kieran gives a slight wink to Timber.
Yeah. I approve. Let's do it. What do you need from me to contact?
From you, nothing, my friend. It's all right in here and right in here and right. It's really the magic of the staff and Ilivanya that gives me this power.
And before you get into any messages you're going to send, I imagine you two have your own kind of private quarters in this village that's made up of mostly the wild elves of this region maintain some of the same abilities as the wood elves of Taramran. So their homes are built in the roots of trees, using druid crafting to bend and twist the trees as they see fit to create homes. You're surrounded by the raven iconography of this tribe. You see there's a few members who bear the markings of the bear tribe as well in these parts, whether they be bones on their armor that are Ursine in nature. Kieran's staff, for the audience's reference, is, you will recall in the first season, perhaps, that Kieran's arcane focus was a moonstone made up of Iluvania, or made up from the corpse moon that floats over Elysia that came down. He was blessed with. He took that shard, that moonstone, and now what would be noticeable is that the moonstone adorns the top of the staff, but it is grown much larger and formed into this crescent moon shape with the replica nature of the corpse moon itself. But before you start sending any messages, Kaze, you would notice that your old friend Bogdasha is walking up towards you. As she approaches, she immediately bows to you, Kaze, and then gives a much almost lower bow to Kieran, where she almost drops down a little bit to her knees, having seen what she's seen with you. And then she'll rise. I do not mean to interrupt whatever your conversation is going to be, but Kaze, I think we need to talk about what it is you wish for me to do, help you, and Kieran with your quests.
Come outside with me. Kieran needs time alone.
As you wish. And before she leaves, she would turn to Kieran and give that same penitent bow, or reverent bow.
Kieran would incline his head slightly.
And then she would leave with you, Timber. Kieran, if there's anything you'd like to do while you have some privacy.
First, Kieran will reach out a sending message to... I guess we can make this a little, so it's not super drawn out.
Yeah.
All three of his allies, Scarlet, Wiswick, and Cal, would receive a message from Kieran that generally goes, Hello, friends of the Wayward Five. I know it's been some time, but we must meet again, for the fate of our world is at risk. Love, Kiran.
When we get to introducing the three of you, we'll introduce you as you receive this message.
At the same time, well, not at the same time, after sending those messages, Kiran is going to start casting a ritual. It looks very reminiscent of the commune ritual that he's cast in the past to speak with his goddess. However, he's changed some of the runes that he's using. He's modified some of the components. He's taken the copper spool that he usually uses for his sending and formed it into a large infinity sign with gems and incense placed around it, as if to say this is like a sending spell, but a little more, because it's like an infinity instead of just like a coil.
And yes, so as Kiran lays out this new ritual for this new spell that he seems to have been graced with Iluvania, you good, Steph, to go?
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
So he lays out this new spell, and he contacts a figure that he met once, very fleeting, and not on this plane of existence. After the 10-minute ritual cast, he speaks out. "Oh, Hadric, Wayward One. We met once, but I was pulled away before we could truly speak. I saw pain and regret in your eye, in the fields of death. Help me, Hadric, the wizened artisan. Help us. Your harbinger continues your work, putting the plane of Aradun at terrible risk once more. The Pallid King, the disease you placed upon the Feywild, is almost ready to burst forth and consume the very fate of the universe. The very fate of the universe is at risk. Please, whatever you can do to help, I beseech you. In the name of your twin sister Adra, help us."
If you would, this is a new spell. This is not sending. Kiran, if you could give me a d20 roll. As Stefan said, this is a sending plus sort of spell.
Is that going to go through? I got a 17.
17. All right. Excellent. 1 second, just pulling up the... All right, so you feel through the power of Iluvania, it's difficult, and the spell is going off, and you can see kind of the copper wire you've used is starting to kind of almost heat up and go red hot as the spell is channeled. And you feel that it is breached out of the plane, the material plane, into whatever ether is beyond that you met Hadric in the fields of death after your encounter with Maias. You wait. And you know, through the magic of Iluvania, that this message has been received. But for now, he's leaving you on red. As you wait moments, but you do not receive any response from
Always
the
like the
Wayward
gods
One.
to make us wait.
At least it wasn't something vague.
Yeah, at least
Some
it's not
vague
like a
message.
response of, what's a popular GIF?
Something from The Office, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Jim looking at the camera. What does it mean? I don't get it. Oh, God.
Yeah, or as soon as he finds out that a mortal has found out how to contact him, it's just the Michael Scott going, no, no, no. Okay. So, as you are sitting with that silence, Kaze, outside, you are with Bogdasha, and she turns to you, sort of as you're kind of off to the side alone. I saw exactly what you saw
So you
in the
understand.
magma fields. I think so.
Bogdasha, I would like you to go back to the Sulk and inform my brother, but no one else. I still am wary of the Way of the Dawn. I don't want that information to travel too far.
Of course, Master.
If I need you again, I might have Kiran contact you.
Of course. I will do whatever is needed in this.
Thank you for coming with me. For its
Did not deny the call of my master. Such glory, it would seem. Do you think what we saw between Astreus and Iluvania, the Black Owl, Moonstone, it's a lot.
It is a lot to take in.
Will your brother believe me?
I think he might. He would be open to this idea, and he's well informed of Astreus' dealings, as well as the other gods.
I will leave in the morning.
That would probably be best. I'll brew you a couple potions to ensure your safety home.
Is there anything you want me to tell your children?
It would be best if you didn't bring me up. Right now I'm a bad memory. Or a loss for them. Don't bring it up now.
As you wish.
I still want them to be distracted. Timber kind of like looks away a little bit there.
And she nods and walks away. All right. Kaze and Huron, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Kiran, you want to fuck off?
Not quite the words I was going to use. I must speak with Valen quickly first. There's one last thing I would have of him. If he's willing.
Yeah, you'd easily be able to find Valen out in the center of the village, talking amongst the Ravenborn Wild Oats, sort of having only really heard the propaganda about what they are, in his mind back in Taram Ra, and sort of the message of you don't want to go the ways of the Wild Elves and become corrupted. He is just seeming you, and you can see he looks happy. He's still, a bit injured from the last fight you all had with the magma drake. But he's there if you'd like to go speak with him.
Of course. Trying to find my Valen. Kieran approaches him and hails him. Honoro. Friend, Valen, please, if I may.
He
And,
nods to you.
Pulls him aside to speak in relative privacy. I am happy to see you doing better since we first arrived. You seem to really be finding a place amongst these elves.
Well, you spend so long exiled from your home. It's even something that is not quite the same. It brings joy.
I'm glad. And that's why I must ask a favor of you, and I do not ask it easily. I've been speaking with our old friends, Elspeth and Taramran, who you didn't meet, but her other old friends, Mandrick and Wyla.
Yes.
They are all currently in Taramran, under the shelter of your kin there. And I've asked them to begin research for me, looking into the Feywild, looking into the corruption of the Pallid King there, looking into the Fey Spirit's Lu that was corrupted and now corrupts our friend, Kieran says, looking up back to his dwelling in the direction of Timber. And, well, I would just ask, if possible, could you go there, return to your people, and to get their assistance? We need all the help we can get in the fight that is to come.
You see at the mention of Taramran, his smile fades, and he looks away when you ask if he can go back there. I do not remember if I told you this, Huron, but my absence from Taramran was not by choice. I was exiled. In fact, despite what he's become, General Kinsley was the reason I survived and was not executed. It's why I was so loyal for so long. But I owe my life to new people now, to you and your friends. I do not know if I can return. But if you have friends there, perhaps I can try.
Do you mind if I ask, Valen? What happened? Why you were cast out?
Give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
I got 4 or 0.
Ha! Ha ha!
Oh, wow.
If you don't mind.
So, you have a good relationship with Valen. He may not be incredibly open about what happened, but he'll tell you a little bit. It is a painful memory, Huron. I do not know if I'm ready to share that story entirely, but was a dispute between myself and some kin. It became violent. It didn't end well for anyone involved. And I at least made it out with my life. But I do believe if I step foot back in there, unprompted, unwarned, with no cause that they agree with, that they can see, it would be as if no time had passed, and the execution will go through.
Then, my friend, I would not ask you to return. I apologize. I had no idea what could wait you there. I can empathize a bit. I fear, should I ever return to Elysia, my welcome will not be with much fanfare. I assume most see me as a heretic speaking out against Ayla, but if that's the case, I would ask you stay here then, where you are most comfortable, and work with the wild elves. See what you can do from here. I can send Elspeth down. She has a quite impressive power, actually, of teleporting through trees. I don't understand quite how it works. Those druids, you know how they are. But she can act as a bridge between this group and that, and hopefully sharing this information will help us reach a conclusion quicker, or at least more answers.
Of course. I owe you my life.
No, Bailey. You owe me nothing.
Well, I suppose I'd rather be on the side of the heretic.
Doesn't matter what others call us, as long as we know what we do is right in the eyes of the gods. We shall see. Dun, dun, dun. At this, Kieran clasps him in an embrace. Says, "Until we see each other again, be safe, my friend."
Of course. And with that, we'll travel across the continent to Cairdolan on the same night, the 31st of Ilsadvala. The streets of Cairdolan are filled with parades and lanterns and jovial celebrations that are dampened with some sense of grimness as people try to be happy despite the threats, the war in the south, and the eastern front of the war in the Gap of Fjornacht. Some distance outside of the city walls, amongst the manors of the magisters and nobles who prefer the countryside over the tight, cramped streets of the city. In a small cottage on an estate, Wiswick works heartily with a new discovery as Kalra watches, listens, and helps where she can. Wiswick, you're in the middle of an inquiry when you receive the message from Kieran. If you'd like, you can describe what you're working on and any changes to Wiswick.
Okay. Wiswick, I guess I'll start with what we're working on here. During the time off, there was a point where Wiswick had figured out some clues as to an ancient artifact known as the Arcane Core. He traveled with Scarlet to recover it, and he's currently trying to find out more about it. When he retrieved it, it seemed to be used as a power source by some strange creatures that he was able to defeat and recover it. But he doesn't really know too much about its inner workings. So, but he did learn from his research that it had something to do with the storing of information. From exploring, identifying it, and reading through his notes, he began the process of experimenting, and he found that it has a sort of reaction to his secret language that he made up. Well, he thought he had made up with his uncle Owick, but it seems to respond to him when he starts speaking in that language. So he's been trying to fill it or just speak to it in that language as much as possible, providing it with information. Currently, he's talking to it in this language. He's actually reading at a children's book that is at his desk. Cowers might be looking at him weird, but he's speaking in this other language, and just reading this thing, partly because of his own interest of surface world culture that he's trying to catch up on. But he's sharing his information with this. He's been spending months teaching this thing everything he knows about magic, and he's just needs a change of pace.
Yeah. So you are sitting out on the back veranda of Talra's estate. There's a gentle breeze nipping in the air, some frost clinging throughout, as it is the end of fall, really. And there are lights all around. There's the mess of Calra's own experiments as she's sitting in a rocking chair, leaning forward, curious as to what happens when you read the story to the orb. Her familiar is in her lap, and she's petting the cat gently. And as you're reading this story, you're suddenly interrupted by the voice of Curon, telling you it's time to
Yo, what
get
up,
the gang.
Vic? It's your boy.
Wiswick responds fairly quickly, says, "Time and a place, homie. We ready out here. Let's get it on."
And I'll say, at least for now, Huron says he'll let you know as soon as he has a time and place for you to meet up with him.
I didn't think of that far yet ahead. Oops.
Well, think about it right now. But yes, Calra looks to you as you seem disturbed. What is wrong, Wiswick? Why did you stop? I think the creature was about to respond.
Wiswick quickly finishes the story in the fastest way he can. So he says something like, "Oh yeah, and Presto defeats the monster, and everybody's happy, happy birthday, and they lived happily ever after." Okay.
You see, real quick before you go into that, the runes light up on the stone, and you hear a very garbled, barely accessible voice that's broken and trying to learn how to speak almost, or at least trying to have enough energy to spell the words. And it just sort of in this broken, Master Netherrock, what is the relevance of this to your spell book?
It's a different line of study. No magic. We're talking about social theory now.
Social theory, accessing logs. Unknown. It's just confused. It's now it just sort of keeps saying unknown over and over again.
Wiswick looks back to Calra and says, It's forming sentences now. We're getting somewhere. I think that if we keep sharing more information, it'll learn. It thinks itself as right now it can only retain the information, but I'm hoping that if I teach it less, formulaic, magical things, like if I start talking about people and emotions, maybe it can learn to think for itself.
Well, it is ancient and it's uncertain what your people's ancestors were able to do with a simulacrum like this, a automaton. It's impressive. Whatever knowledge it has, it's learning from you and me, but it seems like we've studied it. It's trying to access something that it once held. And perhaps you're right, if we continue to teach it, or you continue to teach it, it can access more.
Well, anyway, I know this is all very exciting, but I did stop because I got a message from my friends. I don't know if you ever met Curon, but he's a part of me and Scarlet's group, Scarlet and I's group, and it seems like he's asking for our help once again. I don't know the details, but I want to be there for him.
Of course, you have a strong sense of friendship and duty to those you love. And it is only a matter of time before I can no longer protect you here from the General. I already believe they have grown suspicious.
Kara, you're the magister of illusions. There's nothing you can't pull over on these guys. You have nothing to worry about. Trust me. And I just wanted to thank you so much. I know you're sick of hearing it, but I really appreciate everything you've done for me and Scarlet, and just know that your support has meant the world to me.
And getting to reunite with my old friend through you, your Uncle Oek, it's been a pleasure. You are brilliant. You have a bright mind, Wiswick. I have been reforming the caverns we found the core in. When it is ready, I will send you the coordinates for the circle. And it is a safe harbor, hopefully, for you and your friends if you find your way back into Oxlin. And it is likely going to be my own safe harbor, if anything is done here in the city, retributively towards my protection of you.
Interesting choice for a vacation home, but I'm not one to judge.
Well, I seem to be being able to repurpose the furnaces there, and even activate some of the creatures there. But if you ever need sanctuary, you know where to find me.
Wiswick bows deeply and just like has maybe like tears welling up. He says, I want to find out as soon as possible what Curon needs, but I don't have enough information yet. I'm going now to find Scarlet. It's been a while since I talked to her, and I'm a little concerned. Hopefully she got the same message, and she'll come looking for me at the blacksmith.
And with that, we'll transition over to Scarlet. Scarlet. It has only been a few days since your dinner. On this day is one of the bad ones. The bed of your cell is gone, replaced only with the familiar wet straw of the first night you were in this prison. No sign of Drust, the other cell, the other prisoner within these cells. He's disappeared ever since the night. The window is still there up at the top, and you can see the pale moonlight, and you can hear the celebrations in the streets. As coming through in your mind is the broken message struggling to get through into the cell. But you recognize Curon's voice. But it's difficult to make out what he's saying.
Scott, I need you to. Does anyone respond?
What do you do? And if you'd like to give any descriptions of ways Scarlet might be different.
Well,
I know she doesn't have all of her stuff because she's in
she
prison, but
doesn't. She wears her hair up now in a messy bun. She's a bit more muscular than she was 4 months ago because she's been working in the forge. That's all I can tell you right now. I'll have more later.
okay. So, you're sitting in the cell alone in the dark. The only light is that one torch you recognize. You start to panic when you start to feel the stone floor being gripped with frost. The bars gripped with frost. Wind picks up in the chambers as the temperature drops, sinking lower and lower and lower.
No blanket.
No blanket. You have a pillow. That's it.
I'll just hug the pillow.
Okay.
Best I can.
It goes on for an unknown amount of hours. Your sense of time has been disrupted. All you know is it's been some days because they've given you this window, so you at least see the passage of the sun. And you know it's growing close to the long dark because of the celebrations outside. It must be the 31st of Vilsadvala.
Do I hear
As this,
anything?
give me a perception check. And what are you looking for?
I'm listening for footsteps. Oh no.
What'd you get?
13. But I don't think it showed up in the thing. I think I need to turn the
I think
actual
it Oh, yeah, you probably do. That's okay. We'll take the 13 for now. You're listening for footsteps. So you do hear the footsteps of the guards outside in the main grounds, patrolling the gardens outside. And you hear the scribbling of his quill on parchment. It echoes louder than the frigid winds in the chamber.
Try and produce flame.
As per the last few times you were caught in this wintry mix, the larger you produce the flame, the more of it is drained off into the single torch. The only thing you can muster is the tiny, tiny flame in your palm. It just barely keeps your face warm, or your heart warm if you hold it up. You think of Kiran, Cal, Timber, Wiswick, because this message jars you out of the mesmerizing force of being trapped in such a prison.
I try to focus on Timber's meditation, the flame.
As you stare at the flame in your palm and meditate on this, you think of what you discovered with Wiswick at the forge in Cindermire. You think of the woman in the Badlands walking against the winds, skin red, horns, but your face, your mother. And you start to push out all of the frost. Give me a wisdom roll.
Just straight wisdom.
Yeah.
8.
It's disturbed in an instant when you hear the lock undone on the door. The frost whips up as the door opens. You hear the heavy boot steps of him. And as he gets closer, you see the light of the visor of the crossguard and the thrumming of the magic behind it.
I cover my ears so that I don't hear, or try so I don't hear the thrumming.
He steps up to your bars. He touches the clawed gauntlets to the bars, and the frost begins to melt away. He kneels down, and you can sense the presence of the helmet, the rusted, old, ancient helmet staring at you, the eyes behind it.
Make it stop.
You made your decision.
Make it stop first, and then I'll tell you.
Have you made your decision, Scarlet Cerulean? Exile of the Crimson Court, Rowan Dumaine, daughter of Mara Dumaine, daughter of Lyndon Dumaine, sister to Reese Dumaine,
Make it stop, and I'll answer you.
traitor against your liege lord, Kinsley. You've confessed your crimes. Have you made your choice?
Make it stop, and I'll answer you.
Give me a persuasion roll with disadvantage.
14.
He taps his finger on the bars, and they vanish as he steps through them, getting closer to you.
Still cold.
Still cold.
I back up as best as I can into the corner, away from him.
As he kneels down, do you need a blanket? Rowan Dumaine.
Don't use that name. Make it warmer, and I will answer you. I promise.
He does not stop the frost, but he snaps his fingers and a blanket wraps around you. Have you made your choice?
I have. I'll do it.
the ice melts entirely away. He stands up and walks out of the bars. They replace themselves. He
Wait, he said,
leaves.
no, he said you would let me go if I made the choice. Where are you going?
He'll turn back as he's at the door. Scarlet Cerulean, exiled at the Crimson Court, Rowan Dumaine, daughter of Mara and Lyndon Dumaine,
I know who my family is.
sister to Rhys Dumaine, traitor to your liege lord,
He's not
Aldrich
my-
Kinsley.
not my lord.
Your salvation will come before God is in Ariel. And he locks the door. You close your eyes tight, holding the blanket close, and when you open your eyes, the bed is returned. The window is larger. There are no bars, but wooden walls. Because you're in a fine room with your own hearth, a desk to do your writings at, with fresh fruit available, and a big window looking out at General Kinsley's estate. And with that, we'll cut to Cal. Much further south. You are sitting against the wooden enforcements of the trench line. This line was secured a week ago after Tasaka was lost to the Gwyn armies. The Quintarchy armies. After you saw the violence that this war is capable of, how quickly the walls fell, and how quickly the city was burning, and your soldiers were retreating. Needing to adapt through a series of skirmishes, a new line was made, and Tasaka was reclaimed. But there's nothing much left of it. It's mostly a cultural victory. But a line has been made, as trenches are dug from Tasaka all the way to the Cern River. You were commended for your valor in the reclamation of Tasaka, and recognized for your experience when adventuring. On this night, the Festival of Lights, soldiers have tiny little paper lanterns that have been given out to them for their own celebrations, extra rations. They're singing throughout the trenches. And a general juxtaposition of these celebrations to the very nearby threats of the enemy line. Above you are barricades enclosing the space, and a no man's land of destroyed trees, old bodies, horses, whatever didn't make it across. What are you doing at this point?
I've already let my little paper lantern go. and I was just watching it rise up as the camera came down on me. I think I'm sitting quietly, just watching the troops around me kind of do their quiet little celebrations. On occasion, standing up a little bit and just checking over the trench line to just ensure that there's nobody nearby. No movement, I should say.
Give me a perception check.
It's, all right, we're supposed to use the thing now. Did that work? 9.
9. Okay. The darkness of what you're looking out to is its own menace. Because in your experience so far in the 3.5 months of this, is you don't know if that darkness is real or not. There could be torches behind it. It could be magically enforced, an illusion to keep your line calm, thinking that they're not under threat. You've developed a paranoia about these sorts of things, especially since your newest assignment with the Ferrum Tress, the anti-magic units. You just hear the sounds of music, laughter, tense laughter, and the insects in the distance. As the night goes on, you see some of your unit, some of your old units, celebrating those who you call your current comrades. They are like you, sitting off to the sides, tensely looking out here and there, maybe smoking a pipe or having a swig from a flask, but they're not participating in the feasting or the dancing or the music.
What time is it?
It at this point is around, I would say, it's approaching midnight.
Cal would address the new unit, or his unit, I should say. And I would say, all right, take it easy. 3 hours. Get rest if you need it. Request any further gear, and meet back here at 2:30.
They all give you a nod here and there and move throughout, going back to wherever their bunks are. You see one guy drunkenly is wandering towards you from the trenches. You recognize him as from your old unit. He's very drunk. He's probably a little bit older than you, maybe 25. You remember him as a very aggressive son of a bitch. He was someone who would rush across lines. He would jump up to attack even when they had him blown the horns to say that things were clear, that the wizards were taken out. He's also one of the very few remaining of your old unit. And he just kind of comes wandering up and just sort of immediately kind of falls into your arm, his hand on your shoulder. Hey there, and Cal. Yeah, you're too important for the celebrations now, aren't you?
No, I have something to do this evening, and so, unfortunately, I can't join. You know I would otherwise.
Come on, just, and he pulls a flask up to you. Just have a little bit for me.
Yeah, no, Cal takes it and takes not like a swig. This is like, I make the motion and a little bit of liquor touches my tongue. And that's about all I do.
Yeah. And you
But
see
I
just sort of,
look like I'm drinking it.
yeah. He takes it back from you and you can see he empties it. as he kind of falls back against the wooden planks and sinks down. It's the first good night we've had in so long. And we're supposed to be going home soon, too.
Well, that's what they said, isn't it? Home by, well, originally home by the Festival of Lights, but
I thought I was going to see my mom again.
home by New Year now, maybe?
Yeah, well, hopefully before it really gets bad. Well, you've got a great hall to go back to, right? Lord Stormrain. He would normally never say that to you.
Mm-hmm. Cal, yeah, takes it like he's drunk. It's whatever. He's saying stuff, and if I were his officer, I'd be pissed. But I'm not. I'm not in his command anymore, so it doesn't matter. So I go, well, maybe one day. And here's hoping you get home as well, my friend. And I like tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah, and you see, as soon as you do that, he kind of smirks and takes a drag of the flask, even though there's nothing left in it. And you see his face goes immediately stoic. That you're very familiar with that since the first kind of major conflicts. Yeah, well, someone's got to make it back. And then he'll lift himself up and walk away from you. As he's walking past, he kind of immediately like stumbles to the side. As you can see, Arcos Fortis is coming up to you. He's from far away, and as he's coming up to you, in that exact moment, you hear Kieran's message in your head.
Help me, Keleth Stormrain. You're my only hope.
You said anything back?
There's obviously more, but just to keep it.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I would say I would just respond with if I can help, I will. I guess keep me updated.
And I imagine Kieran will again say a time and a place. Or a time and a place will come. But Arcos Fortis comes, and he's wearing his armor. He's not wearing his helmet, his typical Gwen cross-guarded helmet that's reminiscent of the Kiris Re helmets. He's probably, it's hard to tell how old he is because he's an elf. He's, to you, he looks like a 50-year-old man. So you surmise he's probably significantly older. At the very least, over 100 years old. Probably fought in the First War with the Quintarchy. He has his blade at his waist. The sigils of the Ferrum Tress, and he comes up to you and just says, Lieutenant.
Cal stands and salutes. Not rigidly, just kind of like.
Yeah. You have a good relationship with Fortis. He's been teaching you a lot of the important ways to counter magic, especially with the equipment that they've given you. Well, how does this night fare for the first Ferrum Tress from Endurus?
I had a lovely evening earlier, I suppose. I let a lantern go, and getting the last bit of rest before this evening's true entertainment, let's say.
Yes, of course. It is what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes, sir.
And you see he pulls out a scroll and hands it to you. These are your discharge papers for the Long Dark.
Sir?
You are a high value combatant. And we would, though we may call you back early, we thought you might deserve a little bit of rest. Granted, beyond tonight's events, you have one final mission that must be completed before you can go home for a little bit.
Sir, my unit, in the meantime, who will they be reporting to?
They will report to me temporarily, but we believe that you need to return to Stormrain. They say you have not returned in a long time. We think it would be good for the people of Stormrain to see the return of their Caliph Stormrain.
Insight check. Is he trying to be like something's going? Like, is he trying to tell me that something's going on without having to tell me something's going on?
Give me an insight check.
Apparently, it's a natural 20.
Okay, nice. He is 100%. Yeah, natural 20. You see, right? You've had like private training with Fortis. He's your de facto Arlen out here in the front lines. Something's coming, and he's trying to protect you.
Got it.
Though we are getting this discharge for now, you would likely be called back up as soon as operations are amenable to the season. Armies can't move in the long dark. We cannot feed this many people during the long dark. Supply lines would be a nightmare, especially in this type of war.
Understood. Might I recommend Sergeant Hallis then as a temporary commander for the unit? He'll do a good job.
I think he's an excellent choice.
Yeah, Cal is kind of like... Cal is actually kind of shaken by this a little. Like, he's a little like, I don't understand. What do you mean send me home? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
You get
but
it?
he understands it's an order, kind of. So he's just, all right, moving past it then. We're just, okay, then Sergeant Hallis will take over.
Since you got a natural 20, I think you would glean a little bit more information. This mission that he's setting you on, this last mission, is probably extraordinarily dangerous. And the idea is a little bit of protecting you from other aspects of the war, but also, I don't know if we can ask them to do this without giving them something for it. He would fill you in on the details of the mission, which would be essentially infiltration, elimination of specific mages, and a rescue mission for specific targets, high-value combatants. You surmise that, as it's been before, is likely mages of your own, or literal high-value targets that are other nobles or things like that, or children of nobles. This will not be easy, and we will need you and your soldiers, your unit of Ferrum Tress, to leave in a couple of days. Once you've returned with the targets, proof of death of the mages, you will be discharged for the dark. Any questions, Lieutenant?
Are we alone on this, or any other units coming with us?
This is a ghost operation. No one else will be helping you. No one will be coming to help you or rescue you if you are caught.
Understood, sir.
kind of looks at you and has a kind of a. He straightens himself out and sterns his own face. Enjoy the festivities, Lieutenant. And he gives you a nod and turns to walk away.
Yeah, Cal would salute one more time as he turned around, and sit back down against the trench where he was, and just look at those discharge papers and be like, "What? What?"
Okay. Real quick before we move on, if you want to make any descriptions of Cal's appearance that might be different.
Yeah. Cal, perhaps the most glaring thing is Cal now has a relatively tightly trimmed beard that is not well kept, but also not like gross. He shaves, he keeps it trimmed, but he doesn't really have a ton of opportunity to keep it nice. He also is wearing half plate, breastplate, some arm like pauldrons, and some his greaves on his shins over what is fundamentally a standard issue Honduras soldier's uniform, which is kind of a deep burgundy, very tight tunic and trousers.
Excellent. All right. So, what we will do now is Huron. Actually, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our break, and then we're going to come back to the group coming together, or at least 4 of you for now, I imagine, who can make it out of their current responsibilities. Shannon, why don't you tell us a little bit about the giveaway that we're going to be doing after we're getting back from our break?
Sure thing. So, my friends, we have an 11-ounce mug from Arcane Spectacles to give away. That will be, we will draw that after we get back from our break. Please enter the keyword #season2, the number 2, #season2, the number 2, and I'll put that in chat so everybody can see it. We will draw a winner when we get back from our break. #season2, the number 2.
All right, get those into
US
chat.
only. Sorry, US only.
Yes,
US only.
US only. Get those
Sorry.
into chat, and when we come back, we will draw our winner before we jump back into tonight's episode. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes at 8:50. Well, that's really 7 minutes, but we'll be back at 8:50.
and go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Advantage in Paradise, the premiere episode of Season 2. We have seen some great things so far. We've seen Scarlet making some sort of nefarious agreement with the armored wizard in a prison cell.
Very word.
We've seen Wiswick working on his new discovery and deciding he needs to go find Scarlet. We've seen Kieran and Timber beginning their journey to reunite everyone to take on the Pallid King threat, and we've seen Cal receive his last orders before being discharged for the winter season. But before we jump into the next scene, we're going to turn things over to our community manager, Shannon, to do the giveaway.
That's me. All right, friends. I'm going to talk about the giveaway one more time. So if you haven't had a chance yet, put hashtag season 2 into chat. The number 2. It's hashtag season 2. That didn't take long at all. We're going to be giving away an 11-ounce mug from Arcane Spectacles. The design will be winner's choice. I will coordinate that with you once we have a winner. Hashtag season 2, do the thing. US only. Sorry. Okay, I think we're good to go now. Count me down.
All right, folks, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get those season 2s in. So get them in now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull it, Shannon.
Hey, Primus.
Oh, wait, no, he had entered before that. I thought he'd literally put it in right before you pulled it because he just put one in. But
Oh my God.
congratulations, CL Primus. You've won an amazing Arcane Spectacles mug. Shannon will reach out to you, or you can reach out to Shannon to coordinate that and get you your prize.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody, for participating in the giveaway. We are going to turn over to Shannon and Wiswick now. Scarlet and Wiswick. So, Wiswick, it is early the next morning, and you wake up with that somewhat uneasy sense that you haven't heard from Scarlet in a while, and you feel the need to go check on her. How would you like to do that?
I think Wiswick takes the core with him, and he puts on his professorial garb that he he purchased a few months back, and he just walks into town. He tries to play it inconspicuous under his hat and all that, but he's not too afraid of the guards at this point. I feel like he knows his pathways to get around. But he doesn't try too hard to he tries to get the most direct route, less about hiding, more about convenience.
Excellent. So you snake your way into the city and through the streets, the ways that you've learned over the last few months, sort of feeling a bit not afraid, but just worried because you've been so distracted with your work that you didn't think too much of Scarlet's isolation. She usually does kind of isolate herself often, although you two did have quite the adventure together previously, and you did have a lovely birthday celebration with her for her birthday, where you got her that lovely gift. You move through the streets of the city, and you eventually get to the...
Can't remember the name of the blacksmith's place.
The Thunder Arsenal.
I was just about to say it.
I beat you to it.
I was just prompting some ambiance.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
Shannon, what's the name of the blacksmith? Hurry.
Senric.
You approach Senric's forge. You haven't really been back here since Scarlet's birthday. You hear the sounds of the forge inside. What would you like to do?
I think I go through the front door of the forge, and I just wait at the counter.
All right. You would hear the forge stop as you come in, as a little bell rings by the door.
Can I ring the bell like 8 more times?
You absolutely can.
Just so they
absolutely.
know it's me, you know?
Yeah, that's a good call. You would hear Senric in the other room immediately shout out, "Damned gnome!" And you hear him like tossing the hammer on the ground as he steps out, wiping a rag on his hands. And he's usually a somewhat gruff man usually, but he seems more flustered and frustrated right now. As you hear kind of like gentle rain start to patter outside as the overcast sky above. What do you want?
Whoa, geez, buddy. I thought we were friends. No need to get all hot-headed at me.
You would kind of be able to peek through the kind of like leather straps that make up the separation between his dwelling area and the shop. You're looking for Scarlet back there, but you don't see her. But you do see all of the decorations from her birthday party several months ago. The loose happy birthday Scarlet streamers that Calra made for you to bring. You see Senric. He calms down a little bit, but he seems frustrated. He lets out a little bit of steam, and you see him just sort of knock a few sets of armor off of the table. Have you seen Rowan?
That's why I'm here. You don't know where she is?
No. She disappeared. She left all her things.
When was this?
It was a little while ago. A couple of weeks. I didn't know how to find you.
Shit. Okay. Hold on. He's immediately going to cast Sending on Scarlet.
Scarlet, earlier, probably around this time, you awaken from a tense sleep, but like you're so much more comfortable in the bed that you couldn't help but comfortably sleep. And for a moment when you wake up, you forget everything. Like you just think like you're waking up in some tavern on the road and everything is fine. And shortly, upon awakening, you look around and feel the cold breeze from the window and hear the rain outside in the bustling streets and remember where you are. What would you like to do?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
First thing I'd like to do is check the door. Is it unlocked?
It is.
Interesting. All right. I will make sure that I have... Well, actually, no. I don't have anything right now. Do I? No,
Nope.
I don't.
It's all back at Senric's.
All right. So, is the fresh fruit still there?
Yep.
I'll grab an apple on the way out and kind of just like cautiously like stick my head out. What do I see?
You see the same hallway that you stayed in with the Wayward Five originally in Kinsley's Manor. You see a few guards, the familiar guards that reinforced the manor after the Crimson Court attack. And yeah, that's all you see in the hallway. You know exactly where you are. You're in the same wing of the house you were in when you were comfortably staying here.
Okay. I will stealthily try to make my way downstairs.
Give me a stealth check.
You got it. Oh, no. Thank God for that plus 12.
What'd you get?
15.
Okay.
Rolled a
So you
3. plus
definitely do not avoid the eyes of the guards
Mm.
because they're just kind of out in the open. But anyone who's not, in the immediate space probably wouldn't hear you stepping through. You step back out. I imagine you're trying to make for the front door.
Mhm.
Yeah. You step
Well-
back out.
Do I see? Because I had my bracelet and my dagger with me. I don't want to leave it up.
You did not have your bracelet. You only had your dagger.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so-
remember that night you woke up and just grabbed your dagger and went out to the.
Right. Yeah. So I don't want to leave without the dagger.
Yeah, no, you can easily. And the weirder thing is that your dagger is there, just on your desk.
Oh. Okay. So I will make sure that I will make sure that I pick.
Don't do that with the dagger.
I won't do that with the dagger. And then just make for the front door.
Okay. So the guards, you notice, are watching you the entire time.
Sure.
As you step out into that great hall area where you remember killing Caleb, you once again see the new beautiful stained glass ceiling that was replaced the broken windows. You see that visage of Zendario, the Everflame, in beautiful stained glass, raining a kaleidoscope of light down into this chamber. As you're stepping down the great hall stairs, you see stepping immediately from the other side is the armored wizard. As he's stepping down, and you see he stops when you're approaching the first platform. He doesn't say any words. He just bows. Lady Scarlet.
What could you possibly have to say to me?
Simply moving about the manor as you are free to.
I give him like a huffy look and slowly keeping my eyes on him the whole time. Walk towards the front door.
He just slowly follows behind you. And as you approach the front door, you see Gwendolyn there. The same kind of desk that she had there when you all were staying there, just writing notes. She looks up at you and looks past to the armored wizard. And you can see that fear in her eyes that you saw before. She says, Lady Scarlet, I see you found your blade. You're,
Act more like.
we do hope you have a safe journey, whatever you're doing now. We'll be in touch.
Yes, I'm sure you will.
And don't be afraid to ask for assistance. Because you know by the agreement you've got that weight behind you.
I want nothing from him. I'm doing this for me. His just happens to be in the way.
You can see in her eyes, she agrees with you, and she's sympathetic, but she's in her own situation. Well, I do hope you find what you're looking for.
Give her a nod and walk out the door.
You walk out into the overcast, cloudy day as rain starts to pour down above on you. You don't have your cloak or anything. You're just in whatever you had that night.
Is it cold?
It's not frigid out, but it's definitely a cool rain.
Okay. Keeping my head down, I will walk as fast as I can back to the forge.
Wiswick, it's as she's leaving Kinsley's manor that you're sending you would be sending your message to her. Or did you cast scry? Or did you cast sending?
No, I cast sending. I
Okay.
figured that would be more polite. I say something along the lines of, "Hey, Scarlet, long time no see. At the forge, you could have left a note."
Is that it?
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm coming back. That's it.
Now I want to cast scrying.
All right. Scarlet, give me it's wisdom saving throw, right?
Let's read. Actually, can I find a piece of her hair or something lying around to give me?
She has all of her belongings there. Like, so you can grab
sweet.
you
Yeah.
can grab the
Bracelets.
the
there.
bracelet or her cloak or any of those things.
Okay, I guess that's easier and probably quicker other than looking for the other thing. But -4 to -10 is a big difference. You can't.
That's
for
true.
Trying.
Do I need a wisdom save?
Yeah, I think it's wisdom saving throw. It's a -4 for possession or guardment, and I'm familiar with you, so it's a -5, so -9 total.
So yeah, so take 9 away from your wisdom save.
I rolled a 10, so 12 total minus 9. is 3.
The DC 17. Get out of here.
Yeah. So Wiswick, what you would see is Scarlet walking through the front gardens of Kinsley's Manor, leaving out the front gates, guards not stopping her.
I'm just mouthing obscenities to myself in the middle of the blacksmith thing with my eyes closed, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and Senric's like, wait, what? Is this magic? Can you see her?
Of course,
Are you seeing her?
She's getting a double ice cream cone without me.
And Senric's like, double ice cream. Where's their ice cream? All right.
But yeah, I just immediately dismiss it and wait for her to get back, and I'm literally like waiting at the door.
Yeah. So Scarlet, I imagine you make a beeline for Senric's Forge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go your way through the muddied streets of the lower districts, passing by the the places you were volunteering at throughout the last few months before this happened, and you move straight for Senric's Forge. You immediately think back to that night. You think to how foolish it was to get caught. You think about Senric and how worried he must have been. You think about the the death of his pig that happened.
The pig died! No!
The pig died.
I didn't hear about any pig death!
But you rush in and you see, I imagine Wiswick is like standing on the counter, tapping his foot as you step in.
Soaking wet. So I guess what you would see Wiswick is when she steps in, she's soaking wet because she doesn't have her cloak. Her hair is still up in a messy bun, but like it's plastered to her head because it's raining, and she's got there's strands of it stuck to her face, and she has the muscles that she had when she was forging, but she looks a little sick. A little bit.
The what do you call it? The expression on Wiswick's face kind of just softens a little, and he sternly asks, "You look like you've been through some shit. You want to talk about it?"
No, it's fine. I'm sorry I didn't leave a note. And I look right at Senric.
And you see at first you would see, actually give me an insight check.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a 1. Okay, 9.
All right, so you would see at first it seems like he's very worried, and his eyes are softened than they usually are, but it very quickly reverts to his typical gruff demeanor as he snorts and resumes his work.
Oh, he doesn't say anything? Oh, okay.
You should have left a note.
That's what I said.
I should have. I'm sorry.
Where were you?
And she wants to answer, but she'll look up at him and just her mouth is hanging open and she can't answer him.
Wiswick's gonna cover for her. He's just gonna say, well, I've got some big news. There's some serious goings on with our friends, and Kiran wants to meet up. So you better pack your stuff up, and we better get going. I don't know if you had any plans, but reschedule. We're out on the town again, baby. We're gonna roll deep. We're gonna get out of this shitty town where nobody likes us, and we're gonna go out and adventure again. What do you say?
You heard from Kiran?
Yeah! Didn't I say? The band's getting back together.
All right, and she'll just awkwardly just kind of keep her head down and just go right into the back to start getting her stuff together.
Wiswick's gonna look over to the blacksmith, and he says, she really does care for you. I know she doesn't explain herself very often. I've known her for a long time, and it's tough getting anything out of her, honestly. It's just something you gotta deal with, and let her have her time until she's ready to tell you herself. If you want to speak with her, I'll try and I'll try and send you messages from where we're going to tell you about our travels and such.
And you see over his head turns. You can see his eyes looking back at you. His back is to you and to the forge. Thank you. I would like that. He turns back to the forge.
I'll come out of the back room with my cloak on. I put the bracelet on. Hammers.
Yeah, why don't you describe Scarlet in general now that you actually have your new stuff
all
on?
my stuff, all my cool toys. So Scarlet steps out, and she, on her right hand, she is wearing this beautiful chain bracelet. There's rings on 2 of her fingers, and it kind of goes down onto her wrist, and it's looks like it's glowing like embers in a fire. At her waist, she has a warhammer there. And it's got some very intricate designs on it, some runes that have been carved into it. I feel like I'm missing something. The dagger. Yeah, so she's
That's
still.
all.
I think that's it. I think that's everything. Something I did forget to mention. She does have a little bit black streaks in her hair, but they're really faint at this point. So when she was back there, she redid her bun and got the hair out of her face and put her cloak on, and she's just trying not to think about everything that happened. But once she has all her stuff together, she'll come back out into the forge and look to Wiswick and say, Wiswick, could I have a moment? Senric.
Sure. I'll just I look towards the front door and see that it remember that it's pouring outside, and I'll just go in the back, I guess.
It won't be long.
Wiswick, when you go in the back, you see like the bottles are still all around from the night of Scarlet's birthday, and like
Jeez.
they really didn't clean up at all.
Wiswick sticks his finger in the cake that Calra made that's now moldy and disgusting and tries it and goes, "Ugh." It's not as good.
All right, Scarlet.
So I'm just standing there, very awkwardly, kind of like kicking the dirt with my foot, or kicking the ground. Is there dirt in there? Just kicking the ground with my foot. I wait a minute, and then I ask him, "Are you all right, Senric?"
He seems to, in response, just hammer on the forge harder.
I wanted to leave a note, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you where I was. I couldn't.
You see, he stops hammering on the forge and looks over his shoulder. He doesn't turn around. He just looks back at you. Well, I knew you ran with a hard crowd when I had to kill that man. When whoever that was who threatened you came into the forge that night. I don't know what you're involved in, little one. But when you care about someone, it hurts when they disappear. Stay safe out there, little one. You'll always have a job here. If you can hammer a better horseshoe, maybe. Yeah. That's enough of the flowery stuff. People don't want it. They don't want to pay for it, and it doesn't do anything to make the item better. I don't understand it. It's not like runes. I know rune magic.
I go over to where he's standing, and I put my hand on top of his, both of my hands on top of his, and just say, "Thank you, everything."
He'll finally look you straight in the face, and you can see the age on his face. You can see kind of like the stubby tusks that have been ground down over the years, and the graying 5 o'clock shadow. And his face is soft at this point, but like always, it hardens. And you see he picks up the fierce salt hammer and takes one last inspection of it. Sir, it should serve you well. Weapon of a real smith with their soul. But remember, little one, the forge is sacred.
The forge is sacred.
Now get out of here.
I'll see you soon.
Hammering starts again on his project.
And just like wiping away a couple tears, she'll take the hammer back and poke her head into the back and back into Wiswick.
Wiswick finishes writing down a recipe. It says sugar, salt, cream, goat cream, and a frostbolt. You mix it up. It makes a mean dessert. Wiswick's vanilla ice cream. Vanilla bean, crush it up.
Are you leaving an ice cream recipe for Senric? Excellent.
He definitely does not know how to use frostbolt to cool it down, but he's gonna find somebody to figure it out.
He's proficient. He's proficient enough in rune magic to forge Scarlet's hammer. Probably can do some frost stuff too.
I mean, Kauto needed some funding. There had to be some way that Wiswick was making some money on the side.
Selling ice cream.
Yeah. So, have you said your goodbyes? Are you ready to head out?
Yes.
Wiswick casts teleportation circle, and he's going to command it to the Faerunian teleportation circle that he found way, way, way back in, I guess, Bracklin Glen or near Bracklin Glen, the tower.
Bracken Hill.
Bracklin Hill. Oh.
Bracken Hill.
Bracken Hill. Oh, I was close. I wrote down Bracklin Glen, but whatever.
That's the town that's nearby.
Yeah. I go to the teleporting, the tower where Madrick the Satyr lives.
Well, he's not there anymore. He's in Teramron with Wayla. I would say it actually. No, you would go there. You know that at least that Kiran and Timber are somewhere south. So I'd say at this point, Kiran hasn't given you a location yet. So you spend a few days in Bracken Hill. One, you have to navigate back out of the swamp because it is a bit nefarious, but you do see the ruined tower there. You find yourself in the basement, that dark. At this point, there's no light in there because there's no torch lit from Mandrick living there. You see the ruined desks, all the different things that were once there. All
are
the
blink dogs still there?
You know what? I think they are because he didn't bring them with him.
Have they gone feral?
Well, no. You would go as soon as you got there because they just have been living here. Yeah, the blink dogs would be there, and you would see as soon as it's sort of the magic in the circle activates, and you find yourselves there, and you see the dogs just all like.
Good boy.
Both of you or one with advantage, give me animal handling checks.
Why did I mention this?
I have a +2. What do you have?
0.
All right, I'll do. You want me to do with advantage?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here comes number 1. Okay, first one's a 14. Second one is a 5, so we're gonna go with the 14.
Okay. So at first, the blink dogs don't recognize you at first in the shadow of this space. There's no light in here except for a little bit of overcast light coming from the steps that lead up to the proper tower. But in a few moments, Scarlet, you kind of take a non-aggressive stance once you see Wiswick panicking a little bit. And muttering under his breath, "Good doggy." You properly kind of demonstrate warmth. You get down a little bit. You hold a hand out, and the largest of them kind of comes forward slowly at first, and then blinks to right in front of you, and starts sniffing your hair and moving its head. These are larger than typical dogs. The head is pretty big. It's like twice the size of a normal large dog, and it's just sort of like this is a really obscure reference, but it's like in Jurassic Park 3 when the raptor is kind of like doing the same thing to the people when they're giving the eggs back. Very obscure reference, but it's essentially just rubbing its like sniffing
You
through
could
her
have just
hair.
said Chris Pratt, and I would have been fine with it.
Oh yeah, it's Chris Pratt with the raptors. No. And eventually, after it's done enough sniffing, you see it immediately sit down as if waiting for a treat and its mouth goes to that wide doggy grin with its tongue hanging out.
Oh, I give it
And then
some
the other two
scritches.
come rushing forward for pets.
Yes, all the scritches.
And
Okay.
they are so like all of us in quarantine, they are touch deprived, so they are immediately responding really well to the pets since their old master is no longer there.
Oh.
Both of their
Tummy
old
rubs.
masters. But over the next few days, until you hear from Curon about where to meet, you stay in the tower, you tend to the dogs, and you slowly make your kind of unlock the pathways that you remember back to the main road.
There might be a few things I want to do just quickly.
Sure. Go for it.
One thing would just be Scarlet would be noticing that I've continued to speak in this strange language to the arcane core that we had discovered together, and I would also give her a couple of chances to explain where she was that night. Like, I just bring it up in passing conversation.
What language are you speaking?
It is an offshoot of Snurfneblin.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you
So-
definitely don't speak it.
I mean, honestly, if you know like some primordial,
I do.
you might be.
I
Yes,
do.
Oh, actually, she does. Yeah.
That's why I asked.
it has. You might be able to make out a few like nouns that I mention, like perhaps things that are familiar to you, like stone or magma or stuff like that. Like,
Okay. Curiosity would get the better of her. Wiswick, what are you doing?
well, you see, I'm speaking to my arcane core.
Oh. Is it answering?
Sometimes it's taking some work, but it's I don't know if it's sort of alive, but it at least has a memory. It's keeping record of everything that I tell it, so it's become a pretty useful tool.
Is it safe?
I think so. If it's not safe, it's still worth the risk. This is the whatever's left over of my ancestors might be hidden within this device, and if I can reactivate it in some way by providing the things that I know, perhaps I could learn more about my past and my people's future.
Very interesting.
You see two of the blink hounds are like hesitantly approaching the arcane core
Mhm.
as it's kind of like sputtering out noises as it's trying to form speech in this language. And Scarlet, you would see like whenever it tries to speak, like the runes light up on it. And all you remember of this thing is that it was like it seemed like some kind of battery when you guys found it, that it was channeling the furnaces and empowering that chamber you found it in.
Right.
Just to show off, Wiswick's going to use prestidigitation using the arcane core as a catalyst, and just cast the regular spell, just like a small like sparks in the air that just shoot out of the arcane core.
Yeah, which you essentially notice because you're not a caster, but you know how magic somewhat works. It seems as though Wiswick can channel his magic completely through the core and cast as if he was standing where the core was.
Oh. I can see that it's powerful. Well, just be careful with it.
Don't worry, I'm taking all of the precautions. I've been studying this thing for months with Kalra, and we've made some really good headway.
Good. That's good.
So, you sure you don't want to talk about what you've been up to? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
It's nothing exciting. Not nearly as exciting as discovering new uses for your stone.
Wiswick looks kind of disappointed and says, if it's nothing exciting, then, I mean, why won't you share? I'd like to know more about what you've been doing. Is it so wrong for me to ask you how you've been?
No, of course not.
You think for a few moments, Scarlet, about that journey you had with Wiswick. You spent a solid month straight with Wiswick. And you're helping him, and he helped you, and literally the last time you saw him, he had helped you out in a big way.
Well, it's difficult to talk about still, but I'll try. You know that the general wanted to see us, or was at least after us, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, he came after me. And I spent, I don't know how long it was, had to have been at least a couple of weeks. I spent a couple of weeks imprisoned in the General's manor. That's why I couldn't leave a note. I didn't have a chance to. They came in the middle of the night and took me. There was nothing I could do.
Can I roll a deception check?
A deception check?
I mean, insight check.
Sure.
11. Oh shit! I gotta roll on the thing, but I rolled an 11. Does it matter? Should I roll again?
Roll on the
Roll
thing.
again. Roll again.
Well, now I have an 8. Wait, did that go through? It didn't go through. Oh my god, I'm the
You
worst.
still have Beyond 20 on?
I do.
All right. Well, we'll go with
Give
the
me a
8.
second.
We'll go with the 8 specifically because you forgot to do turn Beyond 20 off.
All right.
What are you looking for?
He's just trying to see if you're being honest. I imagine at this point, like, because you rolled an 8, Wiswick.
I mean, I have plausible reason to believe that you're lying because I saw you walk out scot-free of the prison.
Fair.
What I'll say, Wiswick, is it's hard to tell. You're in this moment maybe thinking she's being honest because Scarlet has never, she's so rarely opened up and said these things, but due to her past of lying to you, you're still unsure. But you do at least have the knowledge that she did walk out scot-free. And she's saying she was imprisoned there. So take that how you will, since this is kind of muddied water whether you think she's telling the truth.
Wiswick kind of just starts spouting out questions like, how did they find you? Why didn't the blacksmith know? Did they hurt you? What did they want to know? How'd you get out? And then immediately stops himself and says, you know what? Just tell me if there's anything I should know about. Like, you didn't make a deal or anything, or there's no like, how did you escape? I just need to know that I can trust you.
That's fair. No, Senric doesn't know. He didn't know. It was after a week or so that I finally spoke with the general. He did offer me a deal. And it was a deal. It was a deal to essentially take down the Crimson Court. I didn't answer at first because I didn't want to be working for the general again. But I took the deal and he let me go.
Wiswick has a long silence and then says, I respect your decision. I don't like the general either, but I know that the Crimson Court's been a thorn in our side for a long time, and maybe Cal won't like us working with him, but if you think that's what's best for you, I understand, and if you need me to, I won't tell the others. But I think you should tell them.
Yes, please don't tell them. Let me.
Wiswick nods and says, Thanks for opening up. I appreciate it.
Thank you for asking.
He
And with
smiles.
that,
Yeah.
we'll jump over to Timber and Kiran. The two of you have been traveling for a couple days now. Despite the sanctifying that you've done, Kiran, within the Gosuru Nation, you still feel a sense of relief when you return to the rest of the world. You take the boat back to Drock. There, they drop you off, and you find your horses, who have been staying
Rocco.
with Kaze's brother-in-law.
What about Jasper?
Kaze, that morning, Dasha said her last goodbyes to you before doing the ritual to be summoned back to the Sulk. She just bid that you be careful out there and to not hesitate to ask her for help.
He would have wrote her a letter to his brother informing him of the events that occurred and that Dasha is a witness of it.
Recounting everything you saw in the heart to bear it.
Correct.
Okay. She'll take that, give you the appropriate respectful bow. Through the dawn I am sustained.
Through the dusk I am protected.
And then in unison.
Sean!
I'll do it.
I forgot it! Ah!
In their weaving, we are set free.
Yes. Oh, I'm
And-
the worst. Sorry.
It's okay, because literally, the last time we did it, you knew it, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
But she would have also paid some respects to Kiran before you had left. Kiran, she would have come to you, and if like when you first met with Dasha, she was this kind of like rough, young kid who worked with Kaze, who was very, wary of you but curious about your religion. But now, after witnessing what happened in the heart of Barrett, she's just so reverent to you. And she comes up to you and bows and takes your hands in her hands. If by my life I can serve this calling of yours, of Astraeus, this Iluvania, whatever it is, I will.
Blessed are the faithful, Bogdasha. I will let you know should anything come up, but until then, continue doing the good work through the Sulk. I believe your mission is aligned with ours. Thank you. And he gives her a little guidance and sends her on her way.
Excellent.
All right, that's enough.
And Huron, this is your first witness, though, to the ritual that the members of the Sulk. Well, actually, no, you saw it in the in Drak with the other members of the Sulk. But I'll describe it for the audience. Dasha would sit herself in meditation before a fire somewhere, whether it's in your hut or the fire in the center of camp, and she would begin to mutter incantations until the embers of the fire seem to latch to her skin, and she begins to glow, and then suddenly, as if a strong breeze turns her to embers of ash, she would disappear into the wind, back to the Sulk. It would take roughly 10 minutes for her to do it, and Kaze can do this also, if he ever chooses to. As long as the Sulk is still friendly to him.
Yeah, big if.
Big if. Anyway, the two of you then go on to the journey. You take your boat. You check in with Kaze's brother-in-law. Acquire your horses. Is there anything you'd like to do in Drak before you head out?
Do you need supplies?
No, I think, well, maybe just something for the horses.
I think we have everything.
Make sure Roko is well taken care of now. Gets
Yeah,
to stretch his legs.
Linhart would come up behind you guys in the stable because he didn't see any of the wonderful miracles you all saw. He just literally slaps Kiran on the back as he says something for Roko. Roko? Yes. Friend of Kaze is a friend of mine. We'll provide you with whatever materials you need from the barracks. It's the least I can do, Kaze.
Fresh meals would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, we will send you off gloriously. Thank you for bringing me news of Reyna.
Not great news, but news nonetheless.
Well,
Take care.
it's better to know than worry.
Take care, my brother.
Do not hesitate to send word of what you need, brother. And I'll give you a forearm handshake.
Good old forearm handshake.
And he supplies you with any mild supplies that you all would request. And you head out. Huron, would you like to tell everyone where you're going to ask them to meet you?
So as we're leaving Drak, as we're going out, Kieran turns to Timber, who is he in wolf form?
Currently, yes. He doesn't have a horse.
Yeah, true. So I guess this is kind of like a one-way conversation with just
Well, he could if you're going slow
could
enough, he
ride-
could just
You could
transform.
ride Shadow. You could ride my
Not
horse.
as a wolf.
Well, no. If he wants to talk to Kieran, he could be a human and ride Shadow.
I don't think they took all your horses with them.
Oh, you would have taken your own horses.
Yeah, you guys took your own horses.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Never mind. Never mind.
Unless you teleported them, you're now horseless. Shadow and Jasper are
Don't nod.
That's all right. That's all right. Senric will take care of them.
a logistics thing you probably should have thought of beforehand. But what do I know?
Didn't give me a time or date. Get out of here.
But anyway, Huron, you are on Roko, and Roko, and Timber is walking. Roko, and Timber is walking beside you. As a wolf.
Yes. speaking to Timber, goes Kaze. Well, I guess we should probably reach out to the others and let them know a meeting spot. Where do you think might be best? Do you know the geography a little better?
While in wolf form, he's gonna slowly like crack into a hybrid, but will like still kind of like four-legging it.
Yeah, and Curon, anytime this happens, anytime the transformations happen, you worry just a little bit when you can't communicate with him. Like, especially when it goes from wolf to hybrid, you're always a little bit like your hand almost instinctually like is hovering over your staff.
I check those eyes because when he like transforms, I imagine he like bends down a little and then he comes back up, and Kieran's like, okay.
And as soon as you see the blue, you ease.
I think that we should go to Imagine Set. I imagine is a good center point.
Imagine Set. Ah, the memories. Yes, I think that would be fitting.
Tell them there.
What is it? How do you say? Irony? Would it be irony? No, that's not quite it.
We are heroes there, like you said.
Ah, yes, heroes of a burned town.
Mm-hmm.
I will send word to the others, and we will meet them there then. And Kieran casts sending to all three, saying, "We think it best to meet in the ruins of Imagine Set to plan our next step forward. We should be there in about... How long does it take to get to Imagine Set from Drokshan?
From Drak, it would take you roughly, I would say, a week.
It shall take us about a week to arrive. Plan accordingly. In the light of the moon, Kieran."
Wiswick and Scarlet, you would receive this when you are in the tower. You are pretty close. You're only a couple of days away from Magic Set.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yep. He probably doesn't even know we're together, honestly. You want to give him you want to tell him to wait a few days and maybe we'll hang out at the what's called Brackling Glen for a while, see if we could get to, like, see how the place has been. I've been really wanting to see if that one shop that we went there, I can't remember the name of the owner, but
God,
it was so cool.
Saoirse.
Saoirse. Yes, I remember. I did not like that shop, but I suppose I could just wait outside. But we can. We're not that far from Imagine Set, so I suppose we could stay a couple of days in Brackling Glen.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's better to get there first and rub it in their noses.
Is that what I said? No, but
I got great minds think alike, Scarlet. That's right.
In contrast to this lighthearted movement south, Cal, you receive this message while you're crossing No Man's Land. You are laying low, moving through with your small unit for your target. You are trying to find a secure location to begin scouting out the area where they claim targets are. You notice there's just a misting of rain. It's not pouring, you just feel the thickness of the perspiration in the air as you're moving through mud, uprooted trees, rotting horses of cavalry charges, the occasional crater from a rogue and powered fireball, water collecting in the base. You even find leftover ruined artillery, so to speak. Cal, you would cringe at the sight of the lodestones that lay spread out because, as you recall, you put your sword through that mage's face who was controlling that lodestone cannon. But that was several weeks ago, and the rain and crows have made their way with the dead in this area. And you hear in your head, almost laughable, from where you are, come to match and set.
Cal wouldn't respond at this juncture. We got things going on. I have no time for this. I would say that's probably jarring. That's almost like I probably that happened and I hit the ground and like covered up.
Like for a second, you question everything. Like you question reality for a moment.
Yeah.
Because of the just absurd juxtaposition of it, as you almost clutch for the firearm at your waist. You look over and your fellow unit, they're crawling through the mud and they are looking to you at this point. Once
I reasserted a little bit of, oh yeah, right, that was okay. Yeah. I'm gonna I motion for keep moving. Like I give the just keep going. I'm also probably crawling, I'd imagine, at this point.
Yeah.
There's mud. Actually, I'm wearing a dark, it's like blackened metal helmet. Not black, just like almost almost sooted. There's no shine to it.
It's got a matte finish. Is that the right way to think of it?
Yeah, that would technically. Yeah. I don't think it'd be called that on metal. But
no, it wouldn't. But it's essentially, it looks as if you've taken charcoal and rubbed it all across the helm to give it a dull sense, so that it doesn't shine in the distance for any eagle-eyed wizards who watching. Give me a stealth roll with advantage.
Where is my stealth? There's my stealth. $23 then, or 22, sorry.
Excellent. Your unit moves forward through. Your disadvantage roll of a 19 is for your unit. The 22 is for you.
Okay.
All seems quiet as you're moving through. It's about midday right now. You are trying to reach what was once known as their front line, but intel says is abandoned right now. Eventually, you reach a point where you can no longer crawl, and you're going to need to check. What do you want to do?
Find a convenient, either. I'm looking for defilade, right? I'm looking for some kind of. I can hide under it. It could be anything. It could be dirt. It could be corpses. It could be.
You
crater,
see.
Whatever it
You
is.
see the glacis of their defenses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just past it is some kind of trench with spikes or water. But it is enough cover where, as long as there's no one directly watching you, you can get to it and it'll be some kind of cover.
Yeah. All right. So I scoot kind of there, and I.
Do you
keep
go
my
ahead of your
team
party?
A little bit, but not like we're talking less than 10 feet or 10 yards.
Okay.
And I would just real quick, unless I don't think I'd have a periscope, so I just real quick over the trench line.
Yeah.
Just a glance. Oh, Sean, I have my night vision goggles on.
Well, it is. I'll say by the time you reach this position, it is getting darker out.
Okay.
Because this is about a week into the long dark.
Mm.
So you would even look up to the sky and see you almost feel like it's a black hole in the sky, as Vero, which normally is this scintillating, beautiful gas giant in the daytime sky, is slowly becoming this void consuming the sun. It would be early afternoon, but it would feel like it's sunset almost.
Mhm.
And the sky is a scintillating orange. Dim light, so the goggles are helping you.
So then, yes, I would super fast glance over the trench line.
You would see a spike pit. There, you would see bodies in there from the last charge that was sent to try to take this line.
Mhm.
After the commander thought the wizards were taken out. But scorching rays and fireballs had something else to say about that. Looking around, you would see maybe some debris that you could make a crossing with.
Yeah. So I would motion to my team that, and have them bring that up to the defilade with me, so we're stacked up on it.
Absolutely. You see a few other soldiers and Sergeant Hallis find a proper sturdy piece of debris and carry it nuts down prone over, and you all slowly kind of like a line, hand by hand, start pulling it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So once that was in place, unless you want, once that was in place,
exactly that.
I would have us. We're stacked up on both sides of it.
Exactly.
And then I'd count down and have one of the privates, probably just like one of the guys, go over first, and then I would go second, and then everyone else would follow.
So you and the private go over. Now, in that moment, like when you're looking to them and you like point to one of the privates, so you go first, I'll go next.
Mhm.
In my countdown, you start the countdown and then like pause for a moment. And Halas kind of like, Lieutenant. And then you go back into it.
Mhm.
The private goes up. You go up next. You pull out your firearm and point it down into the trench as the private has their shield and sword out. It's empty. You see whatever's been left behind. What do you do?
So spike pit, trench.
Yeah.
Like
You walk to
split trench. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's essentially the idea is it's a fusion of World War II trenches and like Star Fort earthworks defenses, where there'd be a glacis that was the first defense, some kind of moat or spike pit, and then the actual earthworks trench where they could fire a good clean shot down of arrows or crossbows or firearms.
Okay. Got it. Understood. Yeah, so I would hop down into the trench, because the less time silhouetted, the better.
Exactly. Give me a quick stealth check for that.
It's 22.
Okay. You hop down first. And as you're hopping down and sliding down, looking back up to the private who's about to jump down, you hear it first. A loud. It doesn't sound like gunshots. It doesn't sound like arrow fire. You recognize it as a magic missile, but a special kind of magic missile that's been employed by the Quintarchy. Instead of 5 bolts that shoot out, they are concentrated into a rail that just goes through the private's head, and he collapses into the trench.
I would not yell, but my voice is pitched at that, like I'm whispering but loudly. Down, 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 hold. As I cursorily check the private, who I'm pretty sure is dead, but just in case.
Yeah, he was the newest to your unit. you don't actually have that many privates,
Right.
just because of the Ferrum Tress nature. But he was meant to be like your first trainee to join the unit of the Enduran army, because most of your unit is Gwyn, not Gwyn Elf, but of the Gwyn Empire. So you have humans who live in the Gwyn Empire. You have elves amongst you. This was meant to be the second Ferrum Tress the second Enduran to join the Ferrum Tress.
Yeah, so he's dead, probably.
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Okay. Sean, do we have dog tags? I feel like not at this
No,
juncture.
you don't.
Yeah, okay.
You don't.
Yeah, so
The armies of the Quintarchy and Gwyn Empire have not reached the sophistication of actually notifying the extended family yet.
Got it. Yeah, so once I figure out that he's dead, I move quickly down the trench a little bit.
Give me an insight check real quick.
I keep reaching for my actual dice. That's a whopping 2.
All right. You give me a perception check to follow that up.
It's a 21.
Excellent. So this moment you lose a little bit of your training, and you think to yourself, like in a normal situation, you don't panic necessarily, but you freeze for a moment when you see the dead lad. And it takes you a moment, and it's only the reminder of the sounds of it that reminds you of what happens next after they've spotted you. And you hear the sounds of ravens and owls as a flock of familiars are sent out from whatever their position is to spy and look for you.
So I'm in the trench. I would say again, cover up, like pitched at that. And I would look for just a dugout or even a room if there's a dugout room there, but even just something dug out into the trench to like just roll into.
Okay. Give me a perception check. Your unit knows what this means, and you reliably hope that they've all pulled their cloaks over themselves, which are designed to cover themselves within a no man's land.
15.
You just narrowly leap over the tripwire in this dugout.
Oh boy.
Like literally just got exactly what you need to. You like are not running, but moving, hustling through the trench into the first dugout you see, and you like almost like stop and then like pull yourself over the tripwire. Almost like in the moment, like it feels like luck is the only thing that got you in there. And you're able to hide in there. What would you like to do next?
Is it a room, or is this just one of those little, like, this is a bed dug into the side of this trench?
Yeah, this is not a bed dug into the trench. This is a room, and it actually has like this is a crossroad almost of the trenches.
Okay.
There's a room in here. You see some scattered desks, whatever they left behind, a shattered lantern, and then you see across from you is a pathway deeper into the earthworks.
Okay.
You see it's a crisscross. It's almost like you're looking at it. You can see the fog consumes it halfway across, but you can tell it's a crisscross to the next line.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna hold, and well, first I'm gonna wait for those things to pass. Once passed, I will mark the tripwire with something, piece of wood, knife, just anything that is around that I can stick upright, kind of in the middle of the trench.
Yeah, because this is not, from experience that the Gwyn tripwires are not like trip and a rock falls or an arrow flies. No, a trip and it explodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I marked that for anyone else who's moving through or the rest of my team.
You hear a familiar sound of something snapping that is comforting to you because it is some sort of Halas has tossed something over that covers their advance.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the quickened footsteps across the debris. as the rest of your unit comes over.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I vocalize just to make sure they can see me, or they know where to come.
Yeah.
And I point out the tripwire that I've marked, and then so we're at this deeper into the earthworks section.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I know where generally my target is, or my target.
Yes. The target is meant to be at the second line.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be whatever is considered the like headquarters of that second line.
Okay.
And it is believed that they've retreated their forces to the second line as part of the approach of the Long Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Fortis believes that it's an attempt to lure your armies into attacking to get one final victory before the Long Dark.
So yeah, I'm gonna motion that we're heading down. So I would do this: tactical columns, and we're heading down the that trench that would head inwards.
Okay.
Whose name in real life trench warfare I can't remember.
I know. Enfilade? Is it Enfilade?
No, enfilade would be a position where you could. That's what they had.
That's what you jumped into. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have had enfilade if I didn't have defilade.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's funny because I'm like mingling 18th century trench warfare with World War I trench warfare.
Yeah,
but anyway,
the zigzag lines and the
because it's like mixing. I mean, they're all French words.
That's pretty true.
Or in this world, Gwyn words. But you start to move through the zigzagged trenches leading to the second line of this defense. What is your approach? Do you do anything special, or are you just moving through quietly and stealthily?
Quietly and stealthily until we start to see either enemy presence or whatever. I have my sharpest-eyed trooper in front looking for trips or just general. So here's what it is, Sean. Ready for this? I got one guy, the second sharpest eyes, looking for tripwires. Second person after them is scanning ahead. Two guys next, or two troopers next to left and right, though there isn't really much in this setting. And then the rear trooper is up. Second to last trooper is up. Rear trooper is back.
You mean like above the trench line?
Yeah.
Like crawling and watching out?
No.
Or just standing upright?
No, he's just... No, they're in the trench. They're in
the
trench.
Okay.
He's scanning both sides of the trench above us.
Oh, I see. He's keeping an eye on your flanks.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, the flank of a trench, which is just up.
Up. Yeah, exactly. Love it. This is exactly what I wanted. Give me whatever check you would like for this, actually. That you think is appropriate for this.
For like our movement?
Exactly. You could, like, for example, it could be if you wanted to do a performance check for leadership in guiding them, or a stealth check.
History for tactics, like my training in tactics.
I'll allow that.
Thank you. It's a natural 20, also known as a 25.
Woo! Love it.
And you didn't want to use the online roller.
All you've had is great rolls.
You've had two,
except for the 2.
Today. It's great. Except for the 2, yeah.
I won 2.
the 2 that almost resulted in a lot of bad things if you didn't get a nice 21 next. Where would have been several of those rail magic missiles coming at you. Anyway. With the 25, natural 20, what you've commanded each of your soldiers to do, they are successful with. The one that's most important is the tripwire. Because they very clearly tripwired their retreat all throughout. There's no signs of any trolls moving across the no man's land above. They seem to be primarily hoping that your forces will come funneling through. You know this. Then whatever's at the end of this tunnel is an ambush, no matter what.
So I would get to the last bend before we would be visible, or
you can use kind of tactics to be able to like subtly peek up.
Yeah.
And be able to know that you're at the last bend of the zigs.
I would like to have my stealthiest trooper basically crawling on the ground in this trench. Like, just get their eyes around the bend. You know what I mean? Just and I'm looking for just a count of enemies and what our displacement is, what we're looking at.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Okay. It's a 20, dirty.
Nice.
Is it
Give me a
this-
perception check.
Is it the stealthiest trooper or just the one you hate the least?
It's an 11 on perception.
Okay. They are preoccupying themselves with not dying and have a hard time seeing past, but they do, at the very least, confirm that there are Gwyn soldiers, or sorry, Quintarchy soldiers to the other side.
Fucking quints, bro.
Quints, nice. I like that. He can't count them, but he determines that there's a crossbow unit there with heavy crossbows aimed, flanking the bend.
Mhm.
And he just spots the glitter of what is likely a mage. How would you like your unit to progress forward?
Do we have any form of demolitions or grenades?
You have an artificer.
Good.
We have one artificer who can cast typical he's an artillerist. So he
Okay.
can cast particularly high-powered things like Fireball, Scorching Ray, those sorts of things.
Okay, so I would then have
Give me a
3
name for
troopers
this guy.
going up. What?
Give me a name for your artificer.
Yeah, my artificer's name,
You would be Gwyn, so something
It's
Greek
Aramin.
or Latin. Nice.
Aramin.
So Aramin is
We're buddies, by the way.
you get along really well with him because he's young for an elf in the army. He's like your age, which makes him like a toddler in elvish years, but he's brilliant
Mhm.
with industrial magic. Like when he moves around, he has no weapon. He doesn't carry guns. He doesn't carry swords. He has a clockwork turret that crawls across his shoulders that fires at enemies. He has goggles on, and he cares more about building things or destroying things with what he builds than carrying a weapon. So he carries materials all over himself. He is covered in satchels.
So with the hand motions that we use, I would have them do the following. 3 troopers are going up the left side and are going to come down on them, hopefully from behind. 3 troopers are doing the same on the right. They're going to have to be my fastest guys, or
Yeah.
fastest troopers, sorry, because they need to cover open space. The rest of us are going up the middle. I'm in front
Yeah.
because that's my job, or that is the officer's job in this case. And Aramin is hopefully as we've drilled, he's gonna detonate his biggest bang, preferably just as we are on the outside of the blast radius.
Excellent. So the trigger essentially is kind of Armin's bang.
Yes.
Everyone's kind of taking their first steps, and then the bang happens.
Yes. Theoretically,
All right.
we are perfectly outside of the 30 whatever
I see what
by
you
the
mean.
time that goes off.
So you know Armin, and he kind of is, because I imagine at this point you've got 3 guys on each side, 3 soldiers on each side.
Yeah, they're ready to go up.
They're ready to go up.
Mhm.
You've got your main unit here. Everyone here is Ferris Truss, so they are the best of the best when it comes to anti-magic. Your armor is good, but it's not great against normal fire. It's meant to prevent damage from magic.
Yeah.
So that's your weakness. Your strength is just expertise and precision. Aramin, you see him prepping things as you're moving forward. You see he's got these beads that he uses. You see, after you order what he should do, he goes, All right, Lieutenant. I think that this will be a sufficient enough bang for us to infiltrate. As you see, he puts a hand down on one of the beads, closes his hands together, and you see just sort of light shining underneath. And he hands it to you.
Mhm.
And then he makes another one. And your command we throw these. And hopefully the fire will kill those sons of bitches.
Well, I can't see it. I'm wearing a helmet, but I give him a small smile, and make sure everyone's looking at me. And I go 5, 3. I count down on my hands for the podcast audience. 4, 3, 2, 1, and huck my grenade.
So you
And begin running.
You and Araman immediately both huck your bead of abeyance, which triggers the two fireballs, 2 third-level fireballs into this space.
Mhm.
And you feel the shockwave of it, and immediate fire. The wood support beams start to burn. Everything starts to burn. You hear some screaming up the sides, and you charge in, shouting, screaming, heading into battle. And that's where we'll cut away from you. And what we'll cut to is Scarlet and Wiswick arriving at Magin Set a full few days before Timber and Kiran.
You got time to kill.
Oh my god, what are we gonna talk about?
So what I'll say is the two of you are approaching. It took you a little longer to get here from Bracken Hill, just because you're on foot and you usually travel this road by horse.
We're just realizing that.
But you see in the stormy distance the earthen-worked walls of Magin-Set. The old hill forts that make up the 3 circles of this town. And you pass by a ruined farmhouse somewhat in the distance through the trees. This land feels empty. You spent a few days in Brecklin Glen, and even there felt empty. Though you did enjoy the sight of the renewed forest in the middle of the town that you all made happen. But as the rain hit heavy and the thunder roiled in the distance, you approach the ruins of Magin-Set. Notably, there's no one there. There's no garrison that the Kinsley left behind. He took all of his troops out of there. You just see fog and darkness, and the rain falling down now is mingled with sleet, as each day the temperature drops dramatically. It's in the late afternoon, happening simultaneously as Cal crosses no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like to do as you approach?
We should probably find somewhere to shelter. It's very cold.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Doesn't seem to be much. Is there some sort of like a building that's still relatively standing that we can try and hide?
You're cutting out a little bit. Talk towards your mic.
Discord over here.
Is Josh playing video games?
No. Is there any sort of building that looks like it's still up? Like
Yeah.
standing?
As you're approaching, you would see those like kind of ruined, like the Kinsley likely abandoned this place pretty quickly after he withdrew his troops, and now it's just sort of been like a hollowed out ruin. And you would see, though, that there are still structures beyond the walls, things that still stand. Most of the damage that you would see that happened when last you were there is still present. You can see the singe marks on the buildings and the walls. But you don't hear anything in there. It doesn't sound like there's any activity happening.
What do you think of this? Should do right?
I don't know if it's right for us to hang out in the big mansion. It just feels uncomfortable. Maybe we go into town and just find something close to the town center. That's most likely where they'll meet us, right?
Just fine. I just need to get out of the rain.
Is there a house near the town center that we could maybe like bust open? Perhaps one with a what's called Thieves Can't sign at the front of it.
Yeah. As you enter into the first circle on the road, you will recall that this is the circle where the temple is, where... What?
Yeah, I was gonna check the outhouse in the back for the dead body.
Oh, the beetles! Oh my
I was gonna say you should
goodness!
have gone to the druid's flock.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my
I want the
goodness!
deepest possible cut available.
Hold up, let me open up my
Go back
old
to the
Imagine set
barracks
fucking
and
notes.
go to the underground cells that Scarlet were kept in. You folks remember that? Remember when Scarlet was in cells? Oh yeah, it was the beginning of this fucking season. Oh.
All right. You guys go into the city. Not city, it's a town. You're in the circle
Ruined
of
town.
You're in the circle of ash where the druid hall is, where you recall helping Wayla with the mandrake root to heal the plagued citizens. You make your way through and you find where Lord Harrison's manor is, if you'd like to stay there. Or you could move into the Circle of the Hearth and go to the Shepherd's Flock Tavern, where you all met for the first time.
Thematically, I think it makes sense to go to the Shepherd's Flock Tavern.
I agree.
All right. So you head through the ruined streets. It is completely silent. You notice that a lot of windows have been broken. Places have definitely been broken into. But over the last few months, anyone who's raiding this area has picked it clean. There's nothing of value left in this city. If you went into Lord Harrison's hall, any gold gilding would be chipped off already and taken. And even the candelabras would be taken. Nothing's left in this town but ruins. You would make it to the Shepherd's Flock Tavern, where you would see that immediate longhouse-style tavern with the several long tables where you originally met, where Scarlet and Timber woke up early that day and were resting there, disturbed only by the innkeeper, who was surprised that someone was up earlier than them, and then had their first conversation with Cal before Wiswick and Curon came down. When you all decided to accept the jobs board post to investigate the murders of magical folk in the region. The ceiling is collapsed in this great hall area, but the back area where the rooms were is still intact.
Cool. We'll go find a room.
All right. So, you spend a couple days there while Curon and Timber travel across Western Tressex down that road. Timber, you all would pass through Port Slad. Timber, you would remember this town, remember buying your fancy cloak there. In that session 0.
Wow.
Town
That was
is
so long ago.
Town is mostly empty. There's very few people left in it. Most people have moved further north towards any family they might have in the northern reaches, or they've been conscripted into the army.
But Sean, even though there's no farmers, the agriculture's been growing there without anybody taking care of it. I think the town's mostly oats.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Clayton, I thought the exact same thing.
Oh my goodness. We have had this inside joke since our session 0s about mostly oats. When they ordered some freaking gruel oatmeal from a tavern, and asked what's in it, and I said mostly oats.
It's mostly oats. And such was born a joke that will transcend time.
But anyway, Timber and Curon, you approach from a distance, and you see on the top hill as you pass through the forests that separate Poor Slad and Magin-Set. You're strong enough where you spot a few spiders in those forests, but a Sacred Flame here, an Eldritch Blast there. Not really, because I know you don't do that.
Yeah, what are you...
Growl here.
Are you associating me with Warlock?
I'm assuming your class. You are very easily able to make your way through. And you see in the distance, in the fog and the sleeting rain, the 3 circles of Magin-Set, the central circle, and the ruined walls and the burnt out husks of buildings. And you hope in your heart of hearts that all your companions are there.
If Wiswick was here, where would he most likely stay?
I mean, he'll probably stay in the nicest place, right? The Lord's Manor?
Maybe. Scarlet would probably want to go to the jail cell.
Yes, that's right. I forgot. Almost forgot about that. Well, let's just go into town. I'm sure we'll see sign of them somewhere. Wouldn't it be funny? And I know I'm not one for jokes. It'd be funny if they were at the what was that? The name of that tavern we stayed at. What was it?
Oh, the one that has a pie named after it. Shepherd's Tavern.
Yes, of course. It'd be humorous to see them there. Fitting.
Yeah, maybe we'll stop in. I wonder if they have any...
Everyone knows the famous Magin-Set shepherd's pie. So you enter into the city, and I surmise that you're going to stop there first?
Yeah, Timber is going to explicitly look for a new pot because his one broke when they made... Or it didn't break, it has some burnt marks because he cooked incorrectly. He walked away when it was cooking.
Yeah, you have to remember, Kieran, that Timber insisted on making a lot of meals while you two were together, despite the fact that you were the cook of the crew. Mostly because he was sick of vegetarian meals.
It's fair.
Yeah, now I ruined our pot.
And you had a lot of scorched meat over the last few weeks.
You eat this.
I still cannot believe you do not. Anyway.
But the two of you enter into the tavern where the ceiling is collapsed, and you hear bickering in the back as Wiswick and Scarlet try to cook something in what's left over in the back. And you hear the familiar sounds of a frustrated Scarlet and a just frustrating Wiswick.
Why would you?
What the hell is in porridge anyway?
No, nothing. It's the easiest thing to make. What are you putting in there?
Timber's gonna immediately just tap Kieran on the shoulder and just go. And Timber's gonna minor illusion. What's that? I didn't catch that.
Kieran stays by the door so he doesn't ruin your stealth.
I was gonna stealth a little closer and then minor illusion right next to Wiswick's ear, just Scarlet's voice. You screwed up! Just over and over.
Does this work? Can you pull this off?
I guess I'd have to roll stealth or performance. I don't know. It's up to Sean.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a stealth check. Wiswick and Scarlet, what are your passive perceptions?
Wait, hold on.
Pretty good, actually. Oh no, it's not.
Okay.
I'm
No, I
thinking
think
of
it's I think I'm alright. I got 27.
Wiswick, technically, Jet is out there and supposed to be keeping an eye out, but in a rare moment of resistance from a familiar, Jet does not alert you to Timber's presence because Jet recognizes him as a threat.
I love it.
Okay. Anyway, well, I mean, I don't know if Wiswick would immediately think this is magic, because I don't know if... I mean, I guess he would sort of think that Scarlet would say something like that, but he is direct... Maybe he's got his, like, head facing away from her and doesn't realize.
Wisbick, give me a quick insight check.
Okay. You sure it's not investing? Oh, why am I rolling? I rolled a bad 20, but we'll never know. Nope, I'm rolling the real dice. I got it working. I'm gonna do it. Give me that 10, baby.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say it takes you a second and you get a little angry at Scarlet, but you remember who the fuck pranks Wiswick, the prankster king of all of the Wayward Five? Timber does. And after you kind of like turn to Scarlet and be like, I can't do this, you stop and think they're here.
Timber just has his like he's just like he's got his arms on the oh my god,
Like
thank
the
you,
bar.
the bar, and he's just staring at them.
And behind you see Kieran just leaning on his staff.
Wiswick casts what's called telepathy on the spoon that he was cooking with. His hand straight towards
Telepathy.
not telepathy, telekinesis.
Telekinetics.
Yeah.
Telekinesis.
Hey, Spoon, how's it going?
Bitch tries to break me spoon, we'll get him good. Yeah, so I took a spoon at him.
As you're chucking the spoon at him, I turn around and bolt for Timber first, give you a big, big hug, and then duck out of the way of the spoon and go and give Kieran a big, big hug too.
Wow. That's like lightning speed hug.
Yeah, like in that way that like late 90s animators had when people hugged people, they like moved like putty and cloth. It's just like, yeah. And then dropped and ran.
I'm gonna
You'll
use
know what I mean if you look back at like say We're Back, that really obscure dinosaur movie from the 90s.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
No idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, carry on.
Timber's gonna catch because he's using his reaction to just catch the spoon and it's because he could do that, catch projectiles, and then he's just gonna throw it away and then give Wiswick the middle finger and then give Scarlet a hug.
Scarlet embraces Timber and then quickly moves scuttering towards and embracing Kieran at the back of the room while Timber flips off Wiswick as 4 of the 5 are reunited.
Scarlet, it's good to see you again.
Oh,
I like
Kieran.
your hair. And you see that his hair is also up in a messy bun.
Huh.
His braids not quite where they once were.
It's so good to see you, Kieran. Are you all right? Are you and Timber both all right?
Yes, it's been quite the journey, hasn't it, Kaze? But we've made it here.
As he takes another swig. Yes, it has. What are you guys up to?
feel like
Did
I
you
would know
did
that.
you guys go back to Cair Dolan?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my
did.
god. How did that work out for you?
The general just let you back in?
We
Yeah, we snuck in. I had a lot of help from Kelra.
and I stayed with Senric.
Hmm.
And
course.
Sendrick was able to protect you?
He was.
Huh.
Kieran, not glares, but looks at both Scarlet and Wiswick, mostly Scarlet, with that look that's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say.
Give me an insight check, and Scarlet, give me a deception check.
Oh. Wait, from both of us?
No, just between Kieran and Scarlet.
Okay.
Deception.
Wiswick is too busy distracting you with his new discoveries.
Oh.
Yeah, I imagine Wiswick has just walked into the
no!
room and just starts talking about the arcane core.
Yeah, take that. Take that.
So close.
Oh no!
It's 18
All
versus
right.
a 17 for the podcast.
rolled less.
Scarlet,
Oh, yeah.
Scarlet, you think that you've successfully deceived them. Kieran, you of course know that something's up.
But
There's no way Senric would have been able to protect her from the general.
there was once a time where Kieran wouldn't even have questioned it. But it
She
is not
gives
that
you a
time.
look. She gives you a look like, we'll talk later.
He just gives a slight nod. As he kind of puts an arm around her and brings her over to the bar to join the others two, taking a seat, making a.
But like you're showing me a rock. Like I don't know. What does it do? Like, does it? You say it's a baby? You talk to it? What do you like? You teach it things?
Yeah, sorta. I mean, it's gonna be really cool once I figure it out.
I don't.
Just you wait.
I don't trust you as a parent, to be completely honest.
And Timber, you would hear a garbled language come out of the stone. Like,
Oh my
brokenly,
god! What was
that
that?
like you don't understand at all. That just is like, and it's broken, not just broken in like the fact that you don't know the language, but it's like not speaking the language itself correctly back to Wiswick, 100%. So the
What
kind
is
of-
it saying?
to you, Wiswick, it's going Netherrock. What is the purpose of these companions?
I begin speaking some gibberish back to the stone.
Oh god!
Kieran, on seeing it, is like, you found the core, have you?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I don't really. It hasn't really given me the answers I want yet, but I'm real close. Well, maybe not that close, but
When
we're
I
getting.
looked into it, there is a whole construct that goes with it. Did you not get one of those?
Look, Kieran, it's a work in progress.
Oh,
Just-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
It's just
Of
that
course.
some things come with the
Baby
pamphlet.
steps.
I do look just to kind of like diffuse an argument that's possibly brewing. I will show off my bracelet. Look what Wiswick made me for my birthday.
You would all
your
see a very beautiful bracelet that looks expensive as fuck and glitters with the embers of fire.
I have a crescent heart.
Like good.
Scarlet, Wiswick, that's beautiful.
I have a quick question. Does anyone have any sweets on them?
No.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's perfect.
Do you, both of you have sweets on you?
I would say that Kieran, ever since having those waffles at the gin tonic bucket of doom,
Frog Hollow Gin Bucket.
sure, carries some kind of sweets on him.
What kind of sweets do you have?
Oh my God.
What would Linhart have given us? What
Oh,
would-
Linhart,
you
if
would have
you
good like hard candies, and Timber would
Yeah, it
have a
would have
couple
been-
too.
Very much so hard candies,
Does it
yeah.
matter?
Some like Werther's original.
Yeah.
Kieran, his gum line is really.
You know, people get down on Werther's originals. I've always kind of liked them.
Oh, no.
I would always sneak them from my grandmother's like little like those old like Italian cookie cases she would keep all her Werther's in. I'd always eat like 7 of them when I was visiting my grandmother
Those
Yeah,
cookies
wow.
are great.
because I think that she just thought they were privately in that cookie container, and I was like, I know where they are. It's still
She
caramel.
knew. Grandmas
Yeah.
always know.
Yeah, she knew. She was like, he's gonna have sweets because I'm grandma. But anyway, you would see Scarlet showing you this bracelet, and as you get close, Kieran, it starts to shake almost. And then Scarlet, I imagine you're like, oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
And then you would see kind of like this little like light in the palm of her hand. Then you would see a magmic snake start slithering out of her hand.
Ah,
By the
and it would immediately shoot super fast into your bag. And it's just sort of wriggling. You can hear like it's like singeing your papers and belongings.
Oh God, Kieran, I'm so
No,
sorry.
no.
No, I'm sorry. Can I pull it
work.
back? Can I pull
Oh
it?
jeez! I just put my hat down like a little
You
embarrassed.
literally cannot control it when there are
Oh.
sweets within 5 feet of it.
Kieran, I'm so sorry. It likes sweet things. You have sweet things in your bag.
Kieran reaches in and starts like pulling out the candies and just tossing them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the snake immediately wrings its head out of the bag and starts catching the Werther's Originals in the air. As they start to, you can smell the sugar burning in its mouth.
That
As
is
it's just sort of like,
well.
Twilight.
This is Lily. She likes sweets, but that's not all she can do. And I kind of give her like a little like, come on, and like I want to do this.
Timber, how close are you?
Timber backed out. Timber backed out.
Okay,
Everyone's
okay.
trying to mage hand get the snake out.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to touch it.
Once Timber backs away, Lily is back entirely under their control.
Okay. And I would like to ask her to do that cool thing where she wraps around my arm.
So you would see the snake immediately slowly wraps herself around her arm and then kind of dissipates into this obsidian chain that goes across Scarlet's arm and acts as like a shield. What was once a magmic snake is now a chain wrapped around her arm.
Well, I'll be. That's quite impressive, Scarlet. Wiswick.
Yes, Wiswick crafted it himself.
Of course, he would
Phenomenal work.
create a chaotic shield.
Of course, yes. And
Um,
well, just
Well,
It is-
you know, I worked with what I got. I have some friends in high and low places that really helped me out with this construction.
Well, it's still
Lovely.
repressive, Wiswick, regardless.
last thing I want to do, I want to command it to to reach out and like grab like a chair and bring it over and then like scoop Wiswick up in it.
Yeah, so what you would see is that Scarlet has complete and entire prehensile control over the snake when she uses it and can grab things, pull them, push them. It's essentially an extension of her arm. And she pulls a chair up behind Wiswick and it scoops him up and plops him down right in front of you all.
Very
As the snake kind of like hovers in front of Wiswick, you see this lava, this like bright singeing tongue going out every now and then as sort of the magmic rock seems to like just like billow out from it and melt back into it over and over again, creating this really like out of this world like swirling sensation to what it looks like.
Thanks, Lily.
So
Oh,
apart from the sweets, it's wonderful.
yes, I'm
Yes.
going to stay over here just for a...
Let's just hope we don't fight any candied monsters in the near future.
Candyland is not a destination we should go.
Candyland, I'm not familiar. Is that one of the planes?
Yes, it is. It's actually... No, it's on
You
our
all
plane.
stand in the middle of this tavern, somewhat overjoyed at the sight of each other. The closest friends you've had in a long time, and though it's been 4 months at this point, it's as if it was yesterday, despite all these changes, new things. What would you like to do before you notice that there is one person missing?
I was gonna say I wait 2 hours and then say, "Where's Carl?"
I sent him a message. He never responded.
Well, maybe we should
But
get
I
an
know that-
update on his location.
He made it through. He just didn't respond.
hope
I
he's
can
all
try
right.
spying on him.
Well, let's. Let me try one more time.
It's always polite to knock first, Music.
Yes, thank you, Timber cousin. And Kieran casts Sending to his friend and goes, Cal, I hope this message finds you well. We've reunited at the Druid's Flock in Set. It's nice, given the nature of the destruction of town. We miss you. I'm going over my 25-word limit, but that's okay.
It was like
You could have cast Sending Plus if you wanted
to.
I have myriad of spell slots to use.
Cal, because this is kind of time is a little messy here. You get this message, and you're on your way back from your mission. You are traversing back through no man's land. Of your unit of 12 soldiers, you're returning with 2.
Wow.
Halas is dead. Armin survived. You're covered in blood, wounds. You have scars up your neck from a fire spell that burnt up your neck. You're wandering, slowly walking through no man's land, almost like a ghost. Upright, you're not even crawling. Because you've just witnessed your entire unit die. Just 2 days earlier.
We're at Set, waiting for you. I hope all is well. In the light of the moon, Kieran.
I think, is there like a time limit on how long Cal could think about an answer if he would? Does Sending have like a
Spell does not specify.
Yeah, I would say you have enough. You have not like a whole day, but you have
Yeah.
time to think.
I think he might just respond with, "Oh, good. Glad you're all well. I'm down. I'm down past the lines. I don't think there's any way I'd be able to get to you, but I'm glad you're all there."
Kieran responds, Where are you? Where you at?
Cal responds, "New phone. Who dis?" No, Cal responds, "Give him my location. I'm
Yeah, I imagine you'll give your
North
like,
of
destination
Tasaka?
location. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You're. I would say you're several miles, several dozen miles west of Tasaka, and they can meet you there. Or at least you could say that's where you're going to be.
yeah. I say that."
Kieran confers with his allies. How long of a trip would that be from Set?
From Set, just under a week. If you cross the river.
I have walk on water, so we'll cross the river.
Nice.
Kieran messages back. We'll be there in less than a week. Until then, stay safe.
Cal's like confused by that, but has also like other things that need to be done, so he moves on with his day. Like mostly a report to my superiors that everyone's dead, and
Yeah.
how long until my discharge papers? What is the start date on those? And see what the deal is.
Yeah. So you will know that Cal, and he can give you references in the region. Is there anything you would all like to do amongst each other before you head out to meet with Cal? Or are you waiting until everyone's together to really talk about certain things?
Unless prompted, Kieran will simply put, I'm sure you all have questions about why I've gathered you here. If this is real life, I would explain it now and then just re-explain it for Cal, but this is a live stream D&D, so I will just answer it all at once. Until then, the view is question what has brought us all together.
Is that what my existence is? A live stream D&D game?
Yes, you are not real.
Uh,
Your emotions do not matter.
You all take this better part of a week to enjoy each other's company as you pass south, as opposed to burdening each other with the woes of life until you can burden each other all together. Cal, you are stepping across this no man's land. Is Armin is behind you, and the one other soldier that survived. Your mind immediately flashes back to exactly what happened. Roll initiative.
That was smooth, Sean. 14.
Dust chokes the air after the ignition of the fireballs. You rush inward. You feel the magic missile rails shooting past your head into your soldiers, as well as crossbows shooting across the space. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
$19.
One cuts across your cheek, but you avoid the damage.
I have a helmet anyway, so it would just
Skitters across
yeah,
your cheek.
okay.
And you like stop for a moment, kind of like that same like feeling like if you like almost just missed like something falling and hitting you as you walk through a door. You stop for a moment as your soldiers are rushing past you. You see your flanked party moving in, and they all point their weapons downward and fire crossbows into the trench. The smoke and dust is making it difficult for them to properly coordinate against you. Similarly, difficult for you to coordinate against them. As a skirmish ensues for the next 30 minutes, you're able to bring down most of their soldiers, but you see as you start to claim a little bit of victory, you spot behind the line the familiar cross guard of light as a battle mage is entering into the fight. And you see a familiar wrenching of their gauntlet as a firewall bursts behind you in your line, trapping you in this space. Igniting the area, casting light, a choking light through the dust in the air. You see 2 Quint soldiers in front of you. 10 feet beyond them is the battle mage. You're up first.
Okay. I'm rushing that battle mage. Obviously, the soldiers are in between I and him, so I suppose my opening attacks will go into those guys.
Absolutely. You hear cries of pain behind you as the wall of fire is hitting your 2 upward flanks. They are caught immediately within it. They are using what they can of their regalia to resist it. As you see, half of them are able to scurry into the trench. 2 of them suffering extreme damage.
Okay.
You've got 2 Quints between you and the battle mage. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to attack both of them. And I'm going to do that. I'll start with the right one, I suppose.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's a 22 to hit. And I'm going to use a superiority die to make it a sweeping attack, which is I can attack the other one as well.
Yeah.
I don't see a way to do that in the system here, but I'll do the damage at least. Oof. 15 damage plus another D8. Is there a way to just roll a single dice in this?
Yeah,
system?
Yeah, on the
bottom
left-hand
left.
side of the screen. Bottom left, you can
Oh.
roll custom rolls. What was the hit on the first one?
It was a 22 to hit.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
For
For
15
deal
damage.
damage to another creature in 5 feet of the original target within your reach. Okay, so whatever you rolled in the superiority die is the damage you deal to the other one.
Yeah, it's just a 3.
Okay. What was the damage on the first one?
15.
How do you want to kill him?
Is he wearing armor? No, yeah,
He
it
is
doesn't
wearing.
matter.
Yeah, he's wearing he's wearing like Gambison armor.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty quick. I just open him up from like shoulder to hip in
Yeah.
just one motion.
Yeah.
and then
Quick
bring the-
motion of your Incursus blade cuts him from shoulder to hip, and then you can easily enough bring it up, sweeping into the thigh of the next one, who drops to a knee before you.
Yep. And then I do my second attack on that guy.
Go ahead. You have advantage on this.
Well, it's a 28. So, I assume that hits.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a 14. That I rolled twice. It's 14.
All right. You are easily able to kill this next one. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I'm gonna close with the
Yeah.
battle mage. I want his attention on me.
Okay.
I'm trying to give my squad the best chance they've got to
Give me
the
a
rest of this.
quick intimidation roll.
Okay. It's an 8.
So you see, as you start to close the distance between you and this battle mage, there's this dust kicking up in the air as you approach. And you just see, it almost feels like it's night at this point, even though it's early evening or late afternoon. As you're choked out by this, the dust clinging to your face, as you see he raises a hand. And from the gauntlet of his hand, you see lightning arcing across the gauntlet. Cal, I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw and make a second one for your unit.
Okay, so mine's a 24.
Okay.
There's is at 11. So I was a target there.
It's an area of effect thing.
Okay, I think I can still do this, and you let me know. I think I'm gonna cast Absorb Elements.
You can. So you'll
Yeah.
take half damage.
Well, I passed the Dex save.
You'll take no damage then.
Yeah. Thank you.
But you will absorb 9 points of lightning damage, as the rest of your party all takes 18 points of lightning damage. As you can see, a surge of lightning crosses the entirety of the trench space you're in. You see your comrades behind you, the metal. It's such ferocious lightning that the metal of their armor is melting on their flesh. As you hear horrible screams, the battle mages, because this is not a Gwen battle mage, I think I said that earlier, this is a Quintarchy battle mage. The spell hits their own men. As you hear the entirety of the line behind you crying out in pain. As this mage approaches you, they have similar armor to the battle mages of the Gwyn Empire, but the cross guard in the face is not the shape of a typical cross guard of a helm. It is just a flame that makes up the center of the helm and lights up a bright blue color or bright red color of the Everflame. But you hear your men and your soldiers behind you crying out in pain as this lightning storm is ushered through. It's your turn again.
Okay, I'm going to attack him. Okay, I'm going to make that a precision attack, actually.
Okay.
Nope, that's the wrong thing. That's what I want. Stop it. Stop it. I don't know how to work this system. Okay. Okay, so that's a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. 10 damage.
So you come rushing forward towards this enemy, and you bring your Incursus blade up, and it strikes, and you see they pull up their arm, and it hits into the bracer of their gauntlet, and you can see it cracks into the armor a little bit, dealing damage.
Okay, I pull back and attack again, and roll a natural 20 for a 29 total to hit.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Nice. Go ahead and roll damage. Season 2, we're going to play the max crit rule. You don't roll the first dice, you do the maximum damage, and then roll the second dice.
Okay, so 11 plus 7 is 18 damage.
Nice. You see the second hit hits upon their forearm, and you can see it crack straight through the armor, and you can see a deep gouge in their forearm. You can see bone through it as they recoil back.
I'm gonna spend a disarming attack, superiority die, and I
Nice.
basically put my foot on my sword and like kick it, like press down farther into it, trying to force him off balance. And also I guess remove his arm or something. I rolled it, so it's extra 7 damage.
Extra 7 damage. Okay. And what's the saving throw for that?
DC 17. Strength.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna roll a d20 and add their modifier. You cleave this arm off.
Good.
You cut through. You kind of bring the Incursus blade down, and then use your foot to push it through into the ground, and it completely severs their forearm. You hear pained screaming beneath the helmet that sounds so muted in a horrifying way as the rain is picking up around you, and the trench is filling with both ash and mud as you hear the clamor behind you. They are still alive, though.
I action surge.
Go for it.
Natural 1. 10 to hit.
You bring your blade down, but they seem to almost react to losing their arm by rolling out of the way of it.
Okay. I attack again.
Go for it.
That's better. 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
I make it a disarming again just for the extra damage.
Go for it.
And then... Ooh! 21 damage total.
Nice. Okay, anything else on your turn?
No, that's it.
Okay. You see they are clearly wounded down below, and they reel themselves up, prepare another attack. You see they're going to... Oh, actually, Cal, did you add the lightning damage to your...
No,
your
I didn't.
So that was 9 more points of damage that you
So,
dealt
yes.
with lightning damage.
Yeah, so on that last attack, I do 30 damage total.
All right. So you see they raise up their gauntlets. The first thing they drew is going to go for an attack on you with their blade they pull out now. which is going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
That does not hit.
Okay. With your, do you use,
Defensive
what's your
duelist.
AC? Defensive duelist, okay. And that's your proficiency. It's 1 plus your proficiency, right?
No, defensive duelist is my proficiency added to AC.
Okay, so that's so that makes your 22 for this attack, right?
23.
Yeah, your proficiency is 4, so it's 22 right now.
Yeah,
but that still
sorry.
doesn't hit.
Yep.
It still doesn't hit. Still doesn't hit.
Yep.
For this attack. Great. So you see their blade comes down, and you can see the visceral magic bleeding off of it. That when you bring up your Incursus blade is just sort of absorbing it almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pull back and they raise their other hand, and suddenly you see a.
They don't have another hand, just so you know.
Oh, you're right. They don't.
They raised their stump, I guess. That's fine.
They raise their stump. Actually, no. This is what they're going to do because they're desperate right now. They're going to drop their weapon and raise their only free hand to cast a flaming sphere. And this sphere is going to encompass this central space as you see kind of fire start to erupt, almost as if someone lit like oil streaks in the trench, because they did light oil streaks in the trench.
Right.
And suddenly it all bursts up into flames. I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw. You can use your, or actually no, you use the absorb elements, but give me that dexterity saving throw.
Okay, I'm going to use Indomitable.
To roll
which
again.
I think is a feature. Let me double check.
Yeah, that's a fighter feature, which should allow you to
making sure it
re-roll your
wasn't a
saving throw.
Making sure it wasn't like a bonus action or a reaction.
Yeah, you're good.
It's an 8.
All right. So you are going to take 20 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And similarly, your soldiers do as well. And it is back to your turn.
All right. I'm now more angry than ever. And so I go in for a I'd attack first. Do that. 21 to hit,
That'll hit.
making it a trip attack. Which is a total of 19 damage.
That will... Okay, 19 damage, and then they have to do a
DC
strength
17
save?
Strength, yeah.
Okay. They do not pass. They are knocked down to the ground
Excellent. So with my second attack,
with
which
advantage because they're
now
prone.
advantage, yep. Probably a good thing I had that. Very good thing I had that. 26 to hit.
There you go. Go ahead and roll damage.
12.
How do you want to kill this guy?
So I attacked. I cut his Achilles heel and I cut the tendons in the back of it. Like I get through the armor, and so he falls over, and then I just real quick. I think I just pull out like a little dirk that I have probably just for that job, you know, and I just hit right through the fucking visor, just bang, 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 bang.
As you're doing that, you see him raising his one clean hand and grasping at something before you stab him with the dirk. Is there anything you want to do in particular about that?
Yeah, I force his hand down.
Okay, give me a strength check or an athletics check.
$25.
You're able to keep his hand down as he was clearly reaching for something on his armor. You push his hand down and then kind of slowly...
into the oily mud.
Yeah, you bring the blade down. He tries to put the stub of his other arm up to block it, but it's easily bypassed. But it's still kind of slow as you just threw the visor into the face.
I think I would kind of rock it back and forth,
Yeah.
a couple times
then-
and then pull it out.
Pull it out, and the corpse drops to the ground as you turn around to see the flames engulfing your entire unit. And the way that it is spread through the trench line into the earthworks that you moved up, as you can see, most of your men are suffering right now, along with the men of this battle mage.
So I yell, pull, fall back, retreat. Is there anyone who? Well, we already saw the end of this. So
Yeah.
I look around to see if there's anyone I could at least pull out of the fire or.
Yeah. Give me a quick investigation check.
10.
Okay. Just enough to find a few of the prisoners that are just beyond in the main hall of this little encampment. You're able to grab them, I imagine, with no words. You're just sort of like bringing them up and then saying, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Cutting any binds that are on them. As you flee with Aramin and the one remaining survivor of your unit with these couple surviving prisoners, as you flee through the earthworks, making your way back to camp. Several days later, Hal, you arrive back at the front line of Endurus in the Gwyn Empire. At this point, it's the third week of Yearglom. The skies are dark. The sun is it's about 3/4 eclipsed. It's just a dull, pale blue that is the sky with red on the horizon. As you enter the camps, as you can see units leaving, discharged for the winter. The rest of you, at this point, find yourselves approaching. You've crossed the river, and you're approaching from a distance as you see smoke plumes in the distance, dust clouds, earthworks, and soldiers approaching. As you get a glimpse at whatever hell Cal has been experiencing. And that's where we'll end tonight.
Where?
Thank you, everybody. Yes? Yes.
Where are we ending?
Here. Nice. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this premiere of Season 2. Thank you so much for supporting us as we've endeavored into this new future adventure with the Wayward Five as they reunite. Thank you so much. We hope that you'll join us for future programming. I hope you'll join us next Monday for Episode 2. This VOD will be on YouTube by Thursday. If you missed any of it, or if you want to send it to your friends, and join us again next Monday for more Advantage in Paradise. Of course, this Thursday we have Relaxing in Paradise, where I'll be hanging out. You can ask some questions about what happened tonight, about the state of the world, and then Sunday we have the Tim and Shannon Power returning. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate your support. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us in Paradise for Season 2. Good night.